This guy was living a totally peaceful life, just wishing for a modern toilet every day when he got summoned to some fantasy world by people calling themselves gods. They ordered him to defeat the Demon King 15 years after dragging him into that world. Now it was finally time for him to go back to Earth, but bam, a goddess pops up with a stat board and loudly announces that because he cleared away all the obstacles that kept him from killing the Demon King, his character score was rated as F. The consequence? He's sent back to day one, forced to restart everything with absolutely nothing. Before coming to Fantasia, Hansu had a perfectly normal personality. He was happy with his life, which is one of the reasons why he saw the summoning as nothing but a kidnapping, and he was incredibly bitter about it. Being sent back to the start with zero equipment, zero connections, the only thing he kept was his memories of those past 15 years. 3,650 days. 87,600 hours. Exactly 15 years. Not a second, more or less. That's long enough for a couple to get married, have kids, and watch them finish elementary school. If he'd been in high school back then, he would have graduated college by now. Meanwhile, he'd had to suffer every single day, desperate to get back to his old world, and on top of that, he was constantly tormented by his shitty teammates. While he was stewing in his anger, a voice spoke up from behind him. "Welcome, Hero Nim! Have you regained your senses yet?" Furious, he shouted at her, "No!" As far as his memory went, this was his first time being brought here, and she was the one who initiated the conversation. Seeing his grumpy attitude, she didn't react, just gently pulled the curtains and continued. "It seems you're still experiencing some side effects after being summoned. I hope you settle in soon. This is Fantasia, a world completely different from the one you were born and raised in." I thought she was going to be the one to explain why he was summoned, but the guy just cut her off and summarized it himself. "All right, let's do this. 1. Demon King Pedonar wakes up. 2. A disaster is threatening humanity. 3. Hero Nim is summoned. And 4. Please save this world." That's about right, isn't it? She clapped in praise, saying it was a perfect summary. The guy was just like, obviously. After all, he was the one who had experienced it all and made it to the very end. Eventually. Now she officially introduced herself. "I am La Nouveau, a priestess with the power of prophecy, and I am the one who followed the ancient legends. And to summon you here." And La Nouveau also means truth in the ancient language, by the way. Hansu blushed, looking at her. Even after 15 years, she was just as cute as the day he met her. Back when he was a teenager, he had been head over heels for her, but not anymore. "I'm going to teach you some manners," he spat out. He went on a total tirade. "Stop smiling like that. It's pissing me off. And stop trying to act cute. A person living a peaceful life gets kidnapped and forced to do someone else's bidding. Do you think this is a joke? If you're smiling at me to insult me, then you're spitting on the very meaning of your name." After getting chewed out, the girl slumped, bowing her head to apologize, while the guy felt triumphant with his victory. But the fun wasn't over yet. A soldier announced it was time to meet the king, but his arrogant attitude nearly made the guy faint on the spot. He just stood there, cocky as ever, and announced, "How many heroes in this world can defeat the Demon King?" "That's right, only one me. If I weren't here, this world would be doomed. You get it now. If he wants to see me, tell him to hurry up because I don't have much patience left. If he's got a problem with that, he can go kill the Demon King himself. Okay, why are you still standing there? Time is money." Just as he was riding high on his rage over that damn F grade, a damn annoying voice echoed in his head, telling him to be humble, that the more one grows, the more humble they should be. Those who are humble will continue to grow. Doing something and making it a habit will help you find a new self. Along with that, a masked woman appeared, and she introduced herself as his special instructor, appointed there because of his F-grade character score, and promised to do everything in her power to help him become a brave hero, and steer that character score back on track. Hansu felt so frustrated it was already unfair enough that he had to start over, and now he had to deal with this obstacle too. He couldn't keep his cool and screamed, "Why? I defeated the Demon King as a hero. It was a perfect conquest, and I didn't leave any mess behind." That hit a sore spot. She started playing the role of a psych teacher, lecturing him on and on. The gist was that someone like Hansu often made mistakes, and really should have failed against the Demon King. But no, you beat him too easily, and that's the problem. These gods believe that failure is the mother of success. You've never failed once, so you have nothing to learn, and a good person should know how to help their teammates, not just slaughter them all like you did. Long story short, she told him to use love to save the kingdom instead of just his fists. Hansu felt his brain twisting, his energy draining. What the hell was this? Snapping the Demon King's neck was easier than dealing with this crap. Had they lost their minds? If failure was bound to happen, he'd just nip it in the bud from the start. This woman is actually still trying to make a comeback after such a failure. That's so surreal. It feels like a student locked up in their house, quarantined and forced to study all day long. Our protagonist realizes that while they don't have ill intentions toward him, anyone capable of easily sending a person who just defeated the Demon King back in time could kill him whenever they want. For now, he has to play along and cooperate until he finds a way to turn the tables on that mindset. Hansu's resentment toward that Lenovo girl also faded away. After all, it was a fated meeting, so he decided to let it slide. Having cleared his head, the young man actively seeks out the king because if this kingdom falls, he won't be able to go home either. So he needs to figure out how to build a connection with the old king and his cronies, something like a boss-employee relationship. But he gets blocked by a tall, dark, and menacing guy before even reaching the door. Then the guy throws some basic attacks at him. Luckily, he's agile enough to dodge them. Digging through his memories, he realizes that guy is Alex the Royal Knight Captain, and also Hansu's former instructor. He treated the hero like absolute trash, beating him to a pulp on the very first day of training, treating him like a dog and tossing him around like a toy. With 15 years of experience as a hero, but having had all his power stripped away, Hansu is incredibly bitter and determined to leave him a little souvenir. Saying is doing, the young man uses the pen in his hand. He slashes at the guy's gym gear, but it isn't successful. He only manages to rip a piece of his pants. Alex, feeling amused, wants a one-on-one duel. He swears on his honor that if the kid wins, he'll kneel down and apologize properly, but that honor is worth nothing. Even when dying, he wouldn't even say a word, so Hansu holds up 2 fingers and says that if he swears on his own 2 little treasures, he might reconsider, which irritates Alex enough to make him leave immediately. Finally, Hansu makes it inside to have an audience with the king. Seeing the old man in front of him, he just wants to charge up and yell, why does he always have that smug, idiotic look on his face? He talks about how in his youth he traveled everywhere and was very warlike. But now he just looks like a fool wearing a crown surrounded by all these nobles, all wearing those grumpy, unpleasant faces. He thinks back 15 years ago to their first meeting. Even though he didn't know the proper rituals, he still showed the utmost respect. But now he can't tell if it's because he knows the future or not. He just can't find a reason to bow before this guy, but he bows politely anyway, because the instructor's words are still ringing in his ears. You must be humble. You must become a vast ocean to protect your allies. After the greeting, the king wants to see his status board and asks if being a hero has any special perks. He opens it up with a sigh. When a certain action is repeated many times, it is automatically converted into a skill, and as that action becomes more proficient, the skill level increases. Consequently, its effectiveness and power increase as well. The rank A display is just like last time, nothing different except for tenacity and assassination, which are both rank F. They probably appeared after he attacked that Alex guy just now after all. From levels to skills, everything has been reset, damn it all. Hansu reports that the hero receives a 500% increase in experience points, leaving everyone present shocked, no different than before. But of course, it's surprising. Thanks to the gift of this profession, he can develop 5 times faster than a normal person. The amount of experience he earns in 1 hour would take others 5 continuous hours to catch up to. Then the king looks at him and commands, O chosen hero, our kingdom of Christ is in danger. The demon king Padona has emerged. Use your power to annihilate him and his minions, and bring peace to us. Our protagonist sighs, thinking to himself, those words again, why me? What do I gain from this? And even without that demon king, this kingdom isn't just suffering from 1 or 2 problems, so stop blaming everything on him and acting all high and mighty. This dim-witted king is about to trigger him, but he has to stay calm. He is the vast ocean. Hansu asks the king what support he will provide so that he can defeat the demon king. The king rolls his eyes and berates him. Why should there be support when he is the one who summoned you to save humanity from this danger? That is the hero's duty. And he has the nerve to open his mouth and make demands. Fed up, his patience breaks. The ocean rises, and he flatly refuses, then rips the king a new one so hard he doesn't even have time to react. He tells the king to find another hero, asks what the kingdom of Christ has to do with him, and tells him to rethink his attitude toward the hero. He should have been the one kneeling and begging him to save this place. The soldiers see this and immediately point their spears at Hansu's throat, but he's not scared at all. He's actually fired up and threatens them back. The king dies, there's a crown prince. The queen dies, there's a princess. The princess dies, there's the next generation. But if the hero of the prophecy dies, then who will be the one to slit the demon king's throat? The king still doesn't want to lose. He claims he spent a large amount of magic stones and entrusted Lenovo to bring him to this world. So he thinks Hansu must be his property. But the one who holds the upper hand is the winner. Hansu has his own logic. The guy is absolutely fearless, even if his life is at stake. Even if this world collapses, he doesn't care. He boldly declares that he will go to another kingdom that values heroes and treats them properly, and that trying to stop or lock him up is useless, because he won't do anything for this kingdom. And when the truth comes out that they are oppressing and exploiting the hope of humanity, that will be the end of this place. The fools supporting the king won't escape that either. It's way too loud and annoying, and finally the king has to give in and agree to his demands. High-quality food, housing, clothes, equipment, medicine, personal needs, blah blah, and especially money. Money, money, that is money. What else? Important things must be said 3 times. The instructor, after hearing the story from Hansu, is utterly helpless and continues her lecture to enlighten the young man, telling him that if he is a windmill, he can only carry grain. And you aren't the only hero here, you know. Plenty of people have graduated before returned to Earth safely and are now living perfectly happy lives while helping those around them. So keep your chin up and give it your all. Hansu watched her silhouette fade away, feeling utterly confused, mumbling that it didn't make sense for a grinder like him to be the only hero summoned. Hero training in another world. What the hell is this nonsense? His head felt like it was going to explode. Just as he was deep in thought, Lenovo's assets smacked right into his face, making it impossible for the young man to stay calm. If this were his old self, his little bird might have already popped out to say hello. It would have probably jumped right out by now. But he wasn't in the mood for that kind of stuff anymore. He quietly asked himself if he was really the only hero summoned to this world. When he got a firm answer that he was indeed the only one, his headache only got worse. The teacher had said she was busy with many students and that countless people had been sent to defeat the Demon King, yet he was supposedly the only one summoned to this specific world. Does that mean there are tons of fantasy worlds corresponding to the number of summoned students, just like in one of those offline RPGs? The more he thought, the more his brain turned to mush. He decided to ditch the deep thoughts and asked Lenovo to go shopping at the kingdom's central trade hub to blow off some steam. It was a place where all the best goods flooded in, though the prices were sky-high thanks to heavy taxes. But nothing was more expensive than items labeled with 2 specific words. Magic. One interesting thing is that just like on Earth, the best sellers are always the high-end stuff. As her companion, he was supposed to keep an eye on the budget. But Lenovo was more interested in blowing money on her own personal whims. Still, since it wasn't his money, he let it slide to avoid drawing attention. Remembering the last time he looked like a total clown in a student uniform, Hansu picked out some noble-looking attire, though it looked like a rainbow-colored horse, and decided to drag her to the black market to get some real gear. Lenovo initially protested, but after some mental manipulation, she obediently followed along. The only problem was he didn't actually know where the black market was, but he knew how to find it. By heading to the tavern he used to frequent, he met Tony, the tavern owner. The guy was a retired assassin who opened the bar, and he had taught Hansu so much back when he was still lost in this world. He was a friend and a mentor, but since Lenovo was with him today, he couldn't get too familiar. The two spoke in code, leaving the girl sitting there completely clueless. Tony started off wiping a glass while asking what he wanted. Got it. Hansu caught on immediately and asked, "Got any good imports coming in today? I'll provide based on the price you pay, and it seems you're in luck. A fresh shipment of 27-year-old Black Dragon Ale just arrived today. If you pair that with some roast lamb, it'll be a real treat." Hansu caught the hidden meaning the next black market bazaar was tonight, and Black Dragon was the venue. He followed up, "How's the quality of the roast lamb today?" "You'll know just by looking at it. Roast lamb, the term for slaves which were banned in the kingdom, but were the main attraction at the black market." With that, he was ready. Hansu dragged Lenovo toward the trading spot. On the way, he revealed that he could see other people's stats. At first she was shocked, but after interacting with the professor, aka Tony, she realized it was just a support ability for rookie heroes who couldn't gauge the power gap. If not for that skill, he would have died like a dog a long time ago, and he was lucky it still worked. She excitedly asked him to check her stats, human level 200 sage class, skilled in dark magic. State excited. Skills, magic, blah blah. Although level 200 wasn't enough to satisfy the lackeys under the Demon King, it was actually rated quite highly. Just her growth potential alone was impressive. Hansu suddenly remembered his last summoning and her future, which gave him the chills, so he kept his mouth shut. Just then a pickpocket brushed by. With the experience passed down from the local street toughs, he easily swiped Lenovo's purse before she could even react. But before he could run more than a few steps, Hansu threw a magic orb at his back, pinning him to the ground. Yet the guy stood up like it was nothing. Ignoring the threats, the guy lunged again. Hansu used his hat to block the guy's vision, twisted his body, and struck a pressure point on the spine, paralyzing his arms and neck instantly. The guy was left crawling on the ground. The guards arrived soon after to handle it. They asked a few quick questions and vanished. Hansu's identity as a hero was kept under wraps, to avoid the hassle. Seeing his nonchalant attitude, Lenovo coldly remarked, "You seem awfully good at killing people, don't you?" "Hit right in the gut," he snapped back. "Don't talk like I'm some serial killer." Though wasn't he. In his previous life, he wiped out his own teammates, but to avoid suspicion, he tried to explain. He claimed that a normal adult's level is 3 and a farmer with a weapon might be 5, but that bastard back there was a level 8. Checking the skill sheet, he wasn't a hunter or a soldier, but likely a criminal. His mind-blowing explanation made the girl's eyes light up. She couldn't stop praising him, saying he wanted to protect the innocent from such thugs before taking on the Demon King. Such a noble act for a hero who sacrifices himself for the people. Lenovo then told him to check his own stats in this world. Everyone carries their own unique power. Sometimes it grows as they mature, but in other cases they boost their strength by absorbing it from others. Kang's level is now 4 on par with professional athletes on Earth, because that bandit he just took down had decent experience points. The XP he gained wasn't half bad. Trade at the black market usually happens in total secrecy, and the powers backing it aren't exactly easy to mess with. Plus, their security system is incredibly strict. After walking for a long time, the two of them finally reached the trading spot where a big burly guy was waiting to lead them inside. Inside these old underground buildings, there are spatial teleportation circles. Creating them requires extremely expensive materials. Little Lenovo keeps blabbering on, asking questions and talking nonsense, which is starting to get on Kang's nerves. The man then asks them both to wear masks to hide their identities before teleporting them down into the dark underground. Hansu warns the brat not to light anything up if she doesn't want to attract attention. With the experience of being a customer many times before he knows exactly where this place is, somewhere deep beneath a forest near the capital ever since some maniac from a certain cult. They came around here. They summoned a demon, and that's how this place turned into a black market. Before the auction begins, the guide explains the rules to bid. Just tap the little bell, already placed on the table. The transaction happens immediately after the announcement. You can pay with gold or anything else of equivalent value. And lastly, regarding any issues that arise from taking off your mask or intentionally revealing your identity, they won't be held responsible. With 15 years of experience on the battlefield, he knows all about this. If word got out that Lenovo, the famous sage and beauty known all throughout the 6th region of Fantasia, was here, everything would go to hell. So he has to keep the girl's mouth shut before she starts spouting flowery nonsense. The auction officially begins. The first one introduced is a veteran who survived the demon territory with scars all over his back. He's suitable as a gladiator or a bodyguard. Hansu looks at his stats and mutters to himself, "A veteran, my foot? Sure, his luck is decent, but only a fool would spend money buying him." Right after that, a series of bells started ringing. Since people come here just to have money to burn, they're really just buying slaves for amusement. Lenovo, itching to talk again, starts rambling. "I understand your plan now. Are you planning to buy that strong warrior? To make him your comrade, right as expected of the great hero? I saw it in a prophecy." Hearing the girl, Kang suddenly remembers a mistake from the past. He had that exact same thought once before, just trying to bid to save a female slave, and ended up ringing the bell until everyone in the stands looked at him like he was a lunatic. Only later did he find out that the girl was actually a high elf who hated humans to the bone. "If I'd known that, I would have never wasted money bringing you home." The warrior is bought by someone else. Lenovo sighs in regret, but Hansu calmly says, "What's there to regret? The game has only just begun. If I spend all my money on useless things now, all I'll be able to do later is sit there sucking my thumb while watching everyone else place their bids." Then the next items are brought out one by one. Lenovo doesn't stop yapping like a parrot. Finally, the item Kang has been waiting for is brought up. Hollow eyes, a body thin from malnutrition, but you can't judge a book by its cover. The skill book and status aren't the things to look at. It's his level that's much higher than the rest, level 851. Even though the presenter hypes up his background as a renowned mercenary from the Northern Kingdom, it's just that he hasn't eaten in a long time, which is why he looks like that. With proper care, he'd be a powerful aid, but almost no one is sure that after spending a fortune to recover a slave, that the slave will actually risk their life for them. So not a single bell rings, but for him it's different. This is exactly what he needs. Hansu tells Lenovo to ring the bell. He got high-quality goods without spending too much money. Once she learns the guy's stats, she's absolutely stunned, acting cocky toward Kang about the reason why that mercenary has such a high level. It's very simple. The guy traveled everywhere, killing all sorts of different species, even though it wasn't easy. The slave trade finishes quickly. As previously agreed with the contract and key in hand, Lenovo urges the guy to leave because she feels uncomfortable, but he decides to linger a little longer. Since there are no more special items, the bids start to drop. So far, only ordinary slaves have been brought out, but the surprise is always at the very end. It's an elf found in a famous forest in the southern continent. Though her mind isn't exactly right, her appearance and lineage are undeniable, and above all, she's still a virgin. After the host's introduction, countless people are led by the nose, and a series of bells ring one after another, a noble race, the desire of every human. However, dealing with an elf in this world isn't easy. Hansu smiles as he watches the chaotic scene. A noble elf. Just because their fertility rate is low compared to their lifespan, or because they hardly ever reproduce, everyone acts like they're on birth control. So people think they're special, plus their libido is extremely low like eunuchs or monks. Lenovo was just complaining about feeling uncomfortable, but as soon as she sees this elf girl, she perks right back up. Maybe it's because she's a mage, but she senses that this elf is something extremely special. Looks aren't important. It's her level 851 that's worth noting. It's on par with mid-tier demons, but thanks to her racial advantages and high skill level, she could be placed somewhere between mid-tier and high-tier demons. Looking at the pet the Demon King is raising based on her stats, she must have once held a very high position. The cursed status is definitely the work of the demons, no doubt about it, because it makes her look alive while preventing her from having any agency, and those statuses behind it are definitely the work of the black market crowd. That's what's making it impossible for her to fight back. There's no reason to hesitate. If he doesn't buy her, he'll regret it for the rest of his life. Ignoring everyone else, he decides to ring the final bell because no one else can see this elf's stats. Yeah, it's true. No one in their right mind would risk spending an absurd amount of money to buy her. The host was about to announce the ownership change 3, 2, 1, but suddenly nothing but crashing sounds. An attack was underway and the tunnel was about to collapse. Minions from the Earth Elementals and the Elf Legion appeared from behind, and both sides dove into combat. The black market crew still prioritized protecting their clients, Lenovo included. He wanted to stay and help the elves rescue the slaves, then teach the black market guys a lesson, but Lenovo gave an excuse about protecting his newly bought teammate and shooed him away. The young guy realized the leader of this attack was none other than the elf queen Sylvia, even though she's just a princess right now later on. After the elf king is killed in a coup, she'll give up exploring to take the throne. In short, she's the future elf queen and also his teammate. During their previous expedition, she caused many of her own people to fall just to save a few tribesmen, all because of that naive, stupid mindset. Right now, Sylvia hasn't joined the party yet, so her level is still low. But with her natural talent and high skill levels, they can somewhat make up for that shortcoming. After Lenovo left, Hansu immediately executed his plan. He approached the auctioneer on the stage to carry out the slave transfer, even though the rules required a direct transaction. But given the current chaos, the guy had no choice but to hand her over. He was pretty smart. He realized this female slave was the elves' target, and he knew that given the current situation, he was at a disadvantage, partly because he didn't have the time to worry about this slave. So he handed her over to him to take his place on the stage. He looked so refined, but he was actually pretty tough, hacking and slashing his way through the elves after getting his clients away. Once he came back to help, Hansu already pretty much knew that the future elf queen would be captured right here and become a slave. Fearing her value would drop, they wouldn't punish her. It's just that after she gets sold, a portion of the money is deducted and sent to the families of the defenders who died in this battle. That's fair enough, I guess. But Sylvia fought incredibly hard in that battle, and then, when only the auctioneer was left alive, he took the slave as a hostage. Feeling guilty for having let so many of her kin fall, she chose to surrender and was sold as a slave. And then the MC bought her and put her through hell, not a moment of peace. To make sure that doesn't happen again, Hansu decided not to let this opportunity go to waste, since Sylvia would definitely surrender to them if this slave is going to die sooner or later. Isn't it better if she dies for a good cause? The MC approached the slave and planted a passionate kiss on those lips, helping her escape this miserable life. The reason that kiss could kill was because of the demon's curse, still lingering on her body. And since she was a level 852 kill, his stats skyrocketed. What an interesting system. Thanks to killing that elf just now, the main character leveled up insanely fast. If he did it the normal way, it would take years to get that much experience. You don't need talent or a bloodline, you just need to be able to kill those stronger than you. No matter how you do it in a world full of strong people, that's just normal. Even so, they still need a bit of effort and luck to find the time to actually do it. In short, opportunities are open to everyone. Everyone is the same. A fantasy world full of dreams and hopes. Of course, that's only true if you're the winner. Hansu killing the elf surprised the auctioneer because most people think it's a waste, as it's more convenient to use slaves as minions, to do whatever they want. But no, this guy is a hero. He gets 5 times the experience points like just now. That's equivalent to killing 5 level 851 elves. Plus, there's plenty more experience points waiting around here for him to collect. Cynthia saw her master lying gasping on the ground and was furious. Enraged, she and her teammates charged at the MC. However, the guy is level 165 now, not too far off from her level 189, even if his body hasn't quite caught up to his instincts. But he's got confidence to spare, and her skills don't coordinate well with her teammates, plus her reaction time is slow. Above all, her fighting style gave everything away. Maybe because she doesn't have much experience fighting humans and mostly just shoots arrows from afar, so you can't really blame her. Now, in Hansu's eyes, she's just a bunch of experience points. He gave her a knockout blow as if settling the score for being tormented before. He was about to land a few more hits, but the others attacked, so he had to use Cinder as a human shield before sending them all to the afterlife. The elves were then ordered by her to attack. They are creatures easily swayed by emotion because they have such long lives. Their bonds are extremely tight. You could say they see each other like a big family. That is both their strength and their weakness. The sacrifice of their comrades makes them lose their minds, creating openings for the enemy to exploit. Finally, after a long, drawn-out battle, only the MC and Sylvia were left. But now, no luck came to her like last time. Even if she screamed at the gods until her voice went hoarse, there was no one to save her. The guy took off his mask. He lunged forward, stabbing Sylvia directly to free her from that dark, resentful past, and to rule out the possibility of her becoming a teammate in the future along with the message. "I don't want to see you for a third time, Sylvia." After an intense battle, the future Elf Queen became a stepping stone for that righteous hero. It was the fitting end she deserved, a perfect ending that couldn't be better in the MC's mind. As for the end he had to receive, it wasn't exactly pleasant either, followed immediately by a lecture, a total scolding, from his teacher. She looked at her rebellious student and started explaining that good deeds are as heavy as a boulder, while evil deeds are as light as a feather. She concluded that even if he defeats the Demon King again, well, it's certainly tough to graduate from this place. The young man was shocked to the core and complained, "That's way too unfair, Professor. Clearly they were the ones who attacked me first." But no matter how hard he tried to explain himself, she couldn't have cared less and just kept on with her unfinished lesson. Patience brings peace, while impulsiveness only leads to regret. Sometimes you just need to endure it for a little while. Patience and time yield better results than helplessness and slaughter. Student Kang Hansu, don't be hasty. Calm your mind and look around you. Tell me, what do you see? The man pretended to think for a moment before blurting out, "Experience points." The professor, completely defeated by his worldview, immediately burned his homework assignment. That is, try to get along with those around you and smile at them even if it's someone you hate. Hansu, who was used to being blunt, was now being asked to act against his very nature. It was a total mess. Just as the guy was feeling sorry for his situation, Lenovo entered and announced that she had completed the task he entrusted her with, as the elven corpses could be used for magical ingredients. He didn't want to leave that profit for the black market crowd, so he had her haul them all back here. He planned to run a funeral service and trade with the Elf King to make some dirty money. But unexpectedly, the girl thought he was being kind and showing respect to the deceased. She was so impressed by him. With his foolproof plan, Hansu confidently strutted down the street, thinking to himself, "How am I so smart?" The people in this world still think he's stuck at level 4, so the Elf King would never suspect that his daughter died at the hands of a hero who could barely even hold a sword yet. Plus, all the black market people at the auction had died, so there were no witnesses left. Hansu had already told Lenovo that the black marketeers and the elven tribe had wiped each other out until no one was left, so of course no one suspected him at all. Just as he was feeling pleased, he ran into old man Alex. He called him back and snidely asked if he had switched careers to the funeral business. But the guy had his ignore mode fully activated, so he treated it like wind blowing past his ears. Seeing this, Alex deliberately added, "It seems there are only 2 more days until the hero's graduation ceremony, right? I'm really looking forward to that day." At that moment, the young man's eyes were blazing with rage, but remembering the professor's words to smile at everyone regardless of the situation, he flipped his personality faster than a pancake. Instantly, a radiant smile appeared, accompanied by the Miss Congeniality, award-winning words of Hansu filled with love. "That's right. I really did switch to the funeral business just so I could build a beautiful grave for you, Lord Alex." To put it briefly, from birth, he had a natural talent for being a tanker. Contrary to the popular belief that if you don't have great sword skills, you can't become a master swordsman. That's not entirely true. A great swordsman must be someone who can protect their allies while simultaneously wiping out the enemy for a long time, someone who doesn't need special protection. or someone who can't be left behind by others, and someone who can survive every battle and become stronger in both swordplay and endurance. The reason Alex would be hailed as the future Sword King is because he can not only protect his allies in battle, but also complete difficult missions all by himself. Alex, provoked and unable to do anything, had to suppress his temper and suggest to Jimin that they start training today instead of waiting 2 days. And if he wanted an apology, he should walk around the market with him. But the guy wasn't stupid, so of course he flat out refused and walked away. If he started training early, his level would definitely be exposed, and right now he was still trying to avoid the Elf King's attention, so he needed to act like a level 4 idiot. The guy was still trying to create an alibi for his current level to avoid suspicion. He planned to hide his level, go on an expedition to some ruin deep in the forest, and then return saying he had leveled up there, and it wasn't just his level. He had developed in other ways impressively. Applying the professor's theory was so perfect that he reached a state where the provocations from Alex were just like wind in the trees. Lenovo then asked him what he needed to do next. Hansu immediately thought of the slave he had just bought. Initially, his goal was to turn him into experience points, but because that respectable professor had enlightened him, he decided to use him as a baggage carrier. And to make the upcoming expedition easier, he drew a map and marked the places he needed to go. Naturally, he wouldn't be traveling on foot like last time. Instead, he would apply the fast, comfortable, and plenty of money criteria. What's money for if not for this? And it seemed the baggage carrier had regained his strength quite quickly. The higher the level, the higher the survival rate in this world. The only thing was that being sent to the past also helped him realize that the professors and the masterminds behind this could reset all his stats whenever they wanted. Even if you were a hero with 5 times the experience, all it took was a little bit of effort. They can reset all of your stats whenever they want. Even if you're a hero with a talent for gaining 5 times the experience, all it takes is a little bit of effort from them. Sure, I'd get tons of powerful skills, but those are just fantasies that could vanish at any moment. Magic, sorcery, swordplay, all of that isn't really mine. Only science is the true power to prepare for the journey ahead. Hansu listed out a bunch of essential supplies for Lenovo to stock up on. Just then, a messenger came running to report that the elven delegation from Elfheim had arrived in the kingdom, and the king wants him in the palace for a meeting. Less than a day since they arrived. Well, that's normal, considering they lost their precious princess. Hansu heard the news and immediately refused to meet, saying the king could handle it however he wanted as long as he got his cut. But things didn't go as he planned, because the leader of the delegation was the Great Prince of Elfheim, a terrifying boss-level character, so he definitely had to show up. Per orders that evening, Hansu reluctantly met with the king. Looking at the prince, his heart felt unsettled. High-ranking royal elves, according to legends, they are one of the races with the most power and the longest lifespan in this world. Longevity is the most accurate word to describe them. Plus, their disease resistance increases every time they level up. They don't die unless they're killed, and once a level is gained, it can never go down. As long as the elves don't die, they'll just keep getting stronger. Of course, skills can disappear or downgrade over time, but if used constantly, their grade will keep increasing just like their level. And the living proof is this monster of a prince. The level stat on the board only shows up to 999. If the level is higher, a plus sign is added, so level 1000 becomes 999 plus, and 5000 is the same. At that point, when facing an opponent, you have to rely on luck and intuition to judge their true strength. And based on his 15 years of experience, he was sure this pretty boy elf was extremely dangerous. And it looked like Did he notice someone talking about him? Right after that, he walked straight up to Hansu, flashing a friendly smile, introduced himself as Nasus, and expressed his gratitude for trying to protect his dear little sister and his people. He expected him to be as grumpy and rude as usual. But instead, the guy put on a Miss Peace face, shook hands, and raised a glass to the friendship between humans and elves, to the utter shock of Lenovo and the local nobles. As they say, loose lips sink ships. After 10 drinks, Nasus started spilling the beans about the motherland Elfheim to Hansu, a place currently on the verge of collapse. The current Elf King is just turning a blind eye to everything, and still despises humans. He sighed and confessed that even though he told Sylvia many times never to look down on humans, the brat wouldn't listen. Even though he knew this day would come, seeing it in person still made him miserable. Hansu listened intently, but in reality he understood better than anyone. The satisfaction state Nasus was showing was plain as day. His sister's death actually made him happy, because to the current Elf King, Sylvia was the real treasure. Their personalities and everything else were just like his blindly hating humans. That's why this brilliant eldest son was cast out of the line of succession without a second thought. Nasus, however, then grabbed Hansu's hand, begging for his help and promising to fully support him in defeating the Demon King. He even had his men bring out the sword Endymion, one of the kingdom's 3 treasures, as a starter gift for him to use until he found a holy sword. But a greedy guy like him, there's no concept of returning anything once he's got his hands on it, especially not something he's been craving. Hansu was thrilled, picking up the sword and swinging it around a bit. But that very act made him suspicious regarding his level, because only someone with immense strength could lift it. Yet even though he was only level 4, he handled it with ease. After the elves arrived, Hansu's pockets filled up quickly. He didn't hesitate to ask the king to let him go out on an expedition. Alex tried to yell in protest, but after the king allowed it and postponed the hero's debut by 10 days, he had to shut his mouth in frustration. Per their plan, Hansu Lanuvo and the slave boy moved out to the Magus Tower. It's like the airport of this world, the tower for the mages. Instead of airplanes, they use magic circles to transport people from one place to another. Holding the order from the king, the one with the most power in the land. The trio didn't need to stand in line. With VIP treatment, they were welcomed warmly, and not even a second later arrived at the other side, without running into any trouble like the last expedition, which ended in regret. Last time, Lanuvo unfortunately sacrificed himself to save Hansu from being buried under rocks. But he didn't feel an ounce of pity, just pure joy, because the brat was always causing trouble. But then, the rest of the team dumped all her work onto Hansu, so he quickly realized Lanuvo's value. Back then, Hansu secretly wished that if he could go back, he would save her at any cost. That's why even if she grumbles or complains now, Hansu just pretends to let it slide. She sighed again, saying this adventure didn't feel like an adventure. It felt more like a business trip. Lanuvo nagged Hansu to go to the guild, so that if some merchant happened to be heading where he was, they could travel together in a carriage, protect that weak merchant. Fight off bandits and monsters, build a reputation, level up together. Chat at night, take turns on night watch, blah blah blah. Just thinking about it is already exciting. If this were 15 years ago, I'd say yes in a heartbeat. But since it's 15 years later, it's a big no way. Not even if someone were dying and screaming for help right in front of me. Their desperate pleas would just be like wind whistling past my ears. Even so, it wasn't just Lanudo whining. That respectable professor was also there, spouting her usual lecture, as if she were some big shot, acting like I was already on some grand adventure. So why don't you go earn yourself an achievement or something? Everyone starts from 0 anyway. Want an achievement. After 2 days of dragging my feet, I finally reached the village I was looking for. Ignored the nagging from the girl with me, and knocked on a house door with the utmost respect. Master Molang, are you in there? I am a man unworthy of being a hero, and I humbly seek your guidance. But to my surprise, the village chief's daughter opened the door, and in her hands was something soft and jiggly that the main character absolutely worshipped, nothing else but a slime. Lanudo and the slave guy were shocked out of their minds. We've dug dozens of these things out of the royal sewers, yet we had to go through all this trouble to travel to this godforsaken place. It's absurd. Malazada was truly furious that the master was being looked down upon. So Hansu decided to prove his point with action in his mind. Slimes were the most perfect creatures he had ever known. The human body is inherently imperfect. It's a prison made of bones, joints, and other parts all bound together by the process of aging. It cannot regenerate on its own once a part of the body is lost. But for a slime, it's different. Their physical form means nothing to them. Even without a brain, their emotions and intelligence are not to be underestimated. Most importantly, they can control their gooey bodies freely. When the main character looks at it, he gains a deeper insight into science, the kind of power that's at the root of the flush toilet, the kind that helps humans set foot on distant stars. Yes, that toilet. You guys are true fans, clearly just salty that you can't be this cool. Back to the toilet on Earth, he was frustrated with the whole fantasy world. Somehow, when he hugged that slime, his muscles suddenly became rock solid. As the young man explained, the human body usually relies on an automated system called the autonomic nervous system, heartbeats, stomach contractions, and so on. Hormone secretion and activities related to muscle building usually happen naturally. The fact that slimes can freely control their bodies is innate, and you can't just teach that to others. However, only Master Molang could carry that softness around all day, and that knowledge can be passed on to humans. After feeling the flow from the slime, he gained the terrifying power of the world's science. His civilization level and skills skyrocketed. This weird achievement made even the professor shut up, apologize, and disappear. Hansu didn't care, and continued to build his alibi to explain his level 204. There are 4 criteria to evaluate a hero strategy: achievements, reputation, and character. And this second time around, I'm aiming for the shortest path to graduate quickly, so I need to max out my points to have any chance of returning to the world of flush toilets. So instead of just being satisfied with meeting the master and leaving, Yeah, I did a total 180 and started helping nearby villages with dangerous threats marching forward in the name of justice. Lanudo and the slave's eyes lit up. What an honor it was to fight alongside a righteous hero. But honestly, who has the time to clean up these petty chores? My main goal is a dragon near the Honorable Master's village. During the last expedition, we discovered it, and I wanted to send it off to the afterlife to get a massive amount of experience points to help with leveling up and the conquest. The crystal from its heart could also be used to counter the Demon King, but my useless teammates always wanted to use their words to defeat the Demon King instead and tried to stop me. But this time is different. I won't let this prize slip through my fingers. Plus, the dragon is still young, so its predatory instincts won't be as sharp as an adult's, and its level and skills are still low. Even so, if I can catch it, the experience gained will certainly be significant. And more importantly, this will serve as an alibi and the easiest achievement I can get right now. Most importantly, that professor won't be able to complain, because this is a hunting mission with a perfectly legitimate purpose. The only problem is the two teammates tagging along the experience is already scarce. So if they crowd in, who gets what? With the main character's current level of only 204, it's not enough to take down that baby dragon yet. So he found a way to level up before the fight by using these rock slimes while Lanudo and the slave stay behind to clean up the mess. To avoid spreading the experience points too thin, he strictly forbade his two teammates from participating in the battle even though they were raring to go. Soon enough, all the slimes were wiped out, their bodies scattered all over the ground with only one lucky one escaping. It ran back to call for help. In the previous part, the main character went to meet his dear master Molang after so many days apart and showed his deep, passionate love. The feelings he had been nursing in his burning heart for so long after hugging it out, Hansu and his teammates decided to go find the dragon to farm some experience points. But first, to be strong enough, he leveled up on those rock slimes. They didn't just take out the ones outside, but the guys even targeted the whole tribe. Hansu came up with a plan to split up and attack from multiple directions. He would sneak in from the north, Lanudo would enter through the main gate, and the slave would attack from the rear. The other side was blocked by a very wide river. If they wanted to escape, they would have no choice but to swim across. And once they're exhausted from all that swimming, all that experience points will be theirs. Sounds reasonable, but I'm not sure if it'll go smoothly. The two guys with him look a bit shaky. But there's no turning back now, so they'll just have to leave it to fate. First, Lanulo will step up as the bait. Seeing the sheer number of enemies swarming out, the poor girl looks a bit discouraged. You'd think sending a small team to attack would be the standard strategy, right? But oh well. Just like that, she regained her composure and unleashed some seriously cool magic. Hansu, watching from afar, thinks everything is totally A-okay. Most of the elites have already swarmed outside. With help from Lanuvo and Cooley sneaking in, won't even make them break a sweat. It's a piece of cake, so they head straight for the biggest tent belonging to the ogre chieftain. As long as he hasn't been woken up by the noise outside, they can just sneak in, assassinate him, and then head back out to help those two guys wipe out the rest. But inside, the tent isn't housing a heart of gold or the chieftain, but an elf girl hanging upside down. Seeing Hansu, she starts shrieking, "Finally! Someone came to save me!" Great, I really thought I was going to die here and never see Elhim again. Elhim, hey, you human, untie me quick! Hansu finds her incredibly annoying. He has a gut feeling she's going to cause trouble. His current opponent is a pretty strong ogre, and there's no guarantee that saving her will help. She might even turn around and bite him instead. Not every elf is particularly wise, so he decides to ignore her. He'll just deal with the chieftain and leave afterward. Hansu sneaks inside and tells the dame to wait there for a second. She'll be home soon. But she'll have to get there on her own strength. He wasted too much time in the previous expedition, so this time he's aiming to wrap everything up as fast as possible. Then he can head back to his beloved flush toilet. Looking at the massive ogre in front of him, he finds it absolutely adorable. Every bit of it is just pure experience points. Level 387. A bit weak. But hey, every little bit counts. All right, let's do this. Hansu pulls out the gift from the High Elf Prince, the elemental mirror Endymion. He's just about to turn the ogre into experience points when the elf girl starts screaming, "Thief! You human dare to steal our race's treasure! What the hell are the guards doing? The royal treasure has been stolen. You must be colluding with the dark elves." Hansu looks at her like, "What the? Are you serious?" It was a gift from the prince. Why does she have to run her mouth so loud? Before he could even do anything, the plan went down the drain. The chieftain woke up from all the shouting and stood tall and imposing in front of Hansu. He thinks to himself, this guy only knows basic moves. He's not as terrifying as he was before. Since his skill level is low, I won't have to struggle like last time. Now be a good boy and turn into experience points for me. Then he swings his sword and the ogre's head goes flying. In no time, the blade is at its throat, and it's about to become a tasty treat on a plate. But that girl starts wailing again. "Help a thief, is anyone there? Catch him." And after that shout, a surge of magic breaks out, and the ogre chieftain goes berserk, smashing everything in sight, sparing no one. The elf girl lies on the ground, cursed, delirious bones, broken, bleeding, and badly burned. Looking at her, Hansu wonders why a high-level 892 elf was captured and brought here. Could it be because of that curse? That same negative effect was on the elf at the black market auction. Is there something deeper going on here that he doesn't know about? Even though the truth is unclear, he knows for sure they'll all have the same ending, becoming experience points for him. That effect is impossible to dispel. Leaving it like that would be being tortured to the point where death is better than living. Putting them out of their misery is the best solution. He smiles darkly. Thanks to them, the day he leaves this rotten world is getting closer and closer. Hansu then lunges behind the ogre chieftain and declares, "Peekaboo time to become experience points for me. Level 892. Elf, level 387. Ogre chieftain, combined with his passive skill plus 500% experience point gain. His main level shoots up like a rocket. Even though the hit-and-run plan was ruined, it's already in the past. He still managed to rack up a ton of points. Now time to fight all the minions. Hansu continuously charges in, slashing wildly like he's playing Fruit Ninja. The ogres' heads are flying off like balloons everywhere. Compared to their previous encounter, their levels are only 1/10 of what they were. Slashing, stabbing, smashing, burning, nothing even leaves a scratch on him. Part of that is thanks to the overpowered skill he got from his master Molang, which boosted his recovery abilities significantly. The longer he can stay alive, the easier it is to level up his skills. If he dies, nothing else matters. Hansu is fighting so hard he completely forgets about his two teammates. When they finally run out of steam and cry for help, he suddenly remembers. He had told Kuli to attack from behind. There were thousands of enemies, so he told them to just run if they couldn't handle it. There was no need to wait for him, but Kuli insisted on staying. Kuli bows his head and says, "Even though I knew I could be in danger when I thought about you still being surrounded by them, I just couldn't bring myself to run away. Ever since you saved me from that black market, I swore to myself that I would dedicate my entire life to you, Hansu." I never thought I'd actually hear words like that after all this time. It's been a while since I've heard someone say something like that. I don't know what was going through my head back then saving that damn elf. My teammates were exhausted, so I sent them back to Master Morning's village. I told them to rest and recover, and they took that elf's body with them to hand over to Prince Nasus later, while I stayed behind to grind for more loot. Then the professor showed up. She was clearly shocked by that elf's sudden death, and started preaching to me, asking if I realized that as long as you're alive, there's still hope. She said if I'd saved her and traveled to other continents to find a way to break her curse, I would have learned a lesson about perseverance and never giving up. Instead of killing her, you know. After listening to her lecture, I immediately shot back, "You've got it all wrong, Professor." The ones who pushed her to that point were those brainless idiots, and I couldn't have saved her back then anyway. I didn't have the heart to finish her off, but it's not like I just gave up on her either. You think I'd do something like that? That elf was level 892. There's no way I was going to pass up that much experience. The professor was completely frustrated with this student of hers. She's been trying to get through to him, but his brain just doesn't seem to get it. Not even a little bit. She gave him a new quest to try to find a real human connection, and joy will eventually follow. Then she vanished as usual. Finding a new relationship, that sounds like a hassle, so naturally I don't give a damn. Right now, all I need is to skewer a dragon and eat its heart. That's where the real joy is. Who needs relationships? Hansu hopped along, skipping with excitement. "Hey, little dragon. I'm here for you. When I came here last time, it was just a little dragon pup. How the hell did it turn into a legendary massive ancient dragon? It's a giant ancient dragon with 3 pairs of wings, the Dragon Emperor Nubius. If you rank him on the same level as the Demon King Padona, that would make sense. Not long after I was summoned last time, Fantasia suffered one of the 5 great disasters caused by the poison dragon. But while the whole kingdom was drowning in a sea of poison, I was training in a forest far away from there, so I avoided getting killed. Now the plan has changed. There's no time to overthink things like taking a nap and coming back later. There's no heart, no experience points. I just have to run for my life. Seeing that twilight state, I knew it was nearing the end. The dragon from last time must have been the hatchling it left behind after it died. However, before it dies, it enters a state of chaos, and as for what happens after that, well, you all know how it goes. The dragon went berserk and chased Hansu relentlessly. With the hard-learned lessons of the past, he flew away without even daring to look back. But after going a certain distance, he couldn't see it anymore. Just when he thought he'd escaped, it attacked from the air. The sheer power shook the earth. From far away, Master Morning's village could see the rain of fire and bombs. Hansu took a direct hit of poison. He almost met his ancestors right then and there. It was only thanks to the body regeneration skill that the slime guy gave him that he managed to survive. Any other low-level monster would have been dead before they could even gasp. If this keeps up, it's going to wipe out Master Morning's village. Of course, he couldn't let anyone lay a finger on a single hair of hers, so he thought of a way to lure the ancient dragon elsewhere to keep fighting. Just use the provocation skill while making sure it sees that the target isn't dead yet. That's enough to hold its attention. Besides, its poison can't be infinite. If it wants to spit, let it spit to its heart's content. And in that moment, he came up with a brilliant idea: lure the dragon to where those brainless idiots are. It's an experience buffet prepared fully by the Dragon Emperor himself. It doesn't matter how the fight goes. Whoever kills it gets all the loot. The poison is strong, but it's not without its weaknesses. The higher the monster's level, the higher its resistance. So if they get poisoned, they might not die, but they'll definitely be at death's door. That works even better. Might as well use the dragon to farm for levels. And just like that, they went from enemies to teammates without even realizing it. Together, they sped through every path, destroying every village in their wake to keep up the pace. To run for a long time without getting exhausted, Hansu had shut down almost all his other senses to focus entirely on his legs. So his current field of vision was incredibly narrow. Aside from big things, he could barely see anything. The villagers screaming in agony and begging for help everywhere were basically invisible to him. And for someone like him, that didn't matter at all. Eyes on the prize, just keep farming, then I'll figure the rest out. Wherever the Dragon Emperor went, the experience points followed. All these regional bosses were now curled up like mere fodder. I feel so happy. Is this the joy everyone always talks about? Racing along a long journey with a teammate, overcoming every hardship and struggle. Defeating every ferocious monster, those tough-as-nails tree demons, mercenaries, wicked knights, and so on and so forth. He blew them all away like mere specks of dust. After only a few days, Hansu's level was already nearly hitting the display cap. If he'd tried to grind for levels the normal way, he would have rotted away long before even laying a finger on the Demon King. In the end, the lad's thrilling adventure had a truly satisfying conclusion. The Chaos Dragon Emperor Nubius had also quickly weakened due to old age after he'd spent so much time chasing him over such a long distance, bowing his head in reverence to offer thanks and a few final words of farewell. Even though it wasn't for long, I was really happy with everything we went through, and I leveled up quite a bit too. I also managed to fulfill what the professor asked, to find a new relationship. Though this relationship is honestly pretty surreal and mind-boggling, which has the teacher quite troubled since many towns were destroyed because of the Dragon Emperor, and nearly half of the central continent was left uninhabitable. Facing her accusations, Hansu feigned ignorance and argued back, even though nearly half of the central continent had been destroyed by Nubius's rage, but the other parts of the continent are still fine, so you could say 90% of the population of Fantasia is still safe. You told me not to give up, right? Just look at this map. There's still plenty of hope here. But there was still one thing the lad needed to do. He looked at the dragon lying there, gasping for air with a tender expression. Even if it went back to its nest to rest, now it wouldn't be able to survive until the end of next year. So now just let nature take its course. The winner takes all. Men raised his sword and plunged it straight into its throat, and just seconds later the massive amount of experience points and power from the dragon, Emperor Nubius, all belonged to him, not a single point missing, as the system now displayed level 99 plus skills, Dragon's Mercy 55, Chaos Frenzy, and 3 mysterious square icons. Look at these numbers. Hansu grinned like he'd hit the jackpot. What the hell was Mercy? He asked the professor about those 3 square icons, but it seemed she didn't know what they were either. So driven by curiosity, he decided to take matters into his own hands and search inside the dragon heart he'd just dug out. But the teacher desperately tried to stop him. Then she hurried off to find help, telling him to just stay put. Wait until those with higher authority could investigate it thoroughly, but there was no way he was going to just sit around and wait. Instead, he'd rather satisfy his own curiosity. It's that very curiosity that has helped humanity gain knowledge and progress to where it is today. He looked at the heart in front of him. The true nature within the man seemed to reveal itself. With a sinister look and a sly smile, he muttered, "Let's see what secrets are hidden inside you." Hansu took a huge bite. It tasted like a mixture of raw liver jelly and rare beef. And then his whole body felt like it was burning. The chaotic power of the Dragon Emperor Nubius seeped into every cell as if his body wanted to twist inside out. Thanks to his ability to block out all physical sensations right now, this felt like the lad was undergoing surgery under anesthesia. After waiting impatiently, the absorption process finally finished. The system status now displayed that instead of the 3 squares from before, it had become 2 squares and a letter F, but the details inside didn't have a damn thing. It was still just a bunch of squares, as if it were a system glitch. Well, screw it. At least, it sent the teacher into a state of panic, which felt pretty satisfying. Everything was done. Now time to head back to the village. Seeing men return, his two teammates were busy stuffing their faces while acting worried, looking very concerned in air quotes as Lenovo said this food was a reward from the delegation sent to collect the elf's remains earlier. It was all ordered by Prince Nasut. Even though the lad didn't like the idea of these two eating on his dime because Master Molang was happy he bit the bullet and let them have it. Through their conversation, it seemed they didn't know anything about the things men had done over the past week, nor why the dragon had suddenly appeared and destroyed everything. A truly innocent idea popped into Hansu's head. The grinding journey of the hero and the ancient dragon had rolled through half of the central continent, and those places they passed through had no one left alive. Even if there had been witnesses, at most they would have only seen a giant dragon and a tiny black dot. And even if they had seen it, no one would know what the face of the newly summoned hero looked like. Besides, at that time, his face was covered in poison, so seeing clearly was impossible. After realizing he'd accidentally destroyed nearly half of Central Fantasia, he forced himself to stop fearing his reputation points would be severely penalized, but no survivors meant no witnesses, which meant 0 reputation points. Lost and it wasn't over yet. His reputation points remained intact, and so the lad told Lenovo and Cooley about the battle of the century and the death of the Dragon Emperor with a story he'd cooked up himself. He'd made it all up like that. The fact that the Dragon Emperor was awakened by the hero had been completely rewritten by the story of the brave hero sacrificing himself for the nation and the ancient dragon protecting the motherland, fighting without fear of death. The first time he'd set foot here, he had struggled just to reach level 10 because at the time skewering people was something disgusting for a peace-loving high schooler. But now, to earn more reputation points, perhaps the lad had to do something truly massive in front of the common folk. Something that could rival the 5 great disasters. Men intended to set out to find a big fish to become incredibly famous, but his plan was immediately shut down by Lenovo. There was only 1 day left until the hero's debut with Lord Alex, so he had to return to the palace immediately dazzled by reputation, points the lad had almost forgotten his precious teammates. And that damn promise, Lenovo kept rambling on about info men already knew, like how the elf they saved the other day was actually a royal guard. She was right next to the elf queen, and the other guard was the one they saw at the black market. Hansu didn't even need to investigate to know that despite all elves having ridiculously long lifespans. But not everyone can hit level 800. They aren't a warlike race like dragons, so the average level for most elves just hovers around 100. And any elf warrior over level 800 gets drafted into the Royal Guard. Men didn't want any more headaches, so he just told the little brat Lenovo this. Since I already know it, just shut up from now on. The kid still wanted to blabber on about this and that, but obviously our guy told her to zip it and keep it to herself for the rest of her life. Last time she was always digging up some nonsense and making him bust his gut to fix everything, so that wasn't happening this time. On the way back from the palace, Lenovo saw something in the distance and pointed it out to Hansu, looking for extra work. The carriage looked pretty fancy and familiar. Using his body-tuning ability to enhance his vision, he recognized the crest of the princess from the Holy Kingdom bordering their own. That crest was only given to the heir to the throne, and since she was caught in a civil war over the crown, she must be fleeing across the border, everything exactly like the first time. The only difference is that instead of waiting 5 more years for the reigning monarch to kick the bucket, he's already dead thanks to the friendship journey with the dragon Nobis that he caused. His 2 teammates looked at men with puppy dog eyes wanting him to play the hero and save the princess. But our guy quick-wittedly pointed to the sky and screamed, "Look! Nubius turned into a zombie and is about to attack, causing Lenovo and Cooley to panic and bolt." Seizing the chance, he triggered his toxic breath skill, spitting out some venom to make quick work of the speeding carriage without anyone being the wiser. Back in the previous timeline, the Emperor had been wary of his brother, so he made him a lord and pushed him far away from the capital, not realizing his brother had been secretly building his own force, and once the Emperor passed away, he rose up to overthrow his niece and take the throne. After being rescued by the hero party and escaping the manhunt, the princess had the hero's support. Together with her reliable teammates, they used force to take back the throne. One of the party members once said that with her intelligence and integrity, she would lead the Holy Kingdom to a bright future. Man, he should have realized it sooner, right from the moment she ordered the execution of all the coup soldiers without a shred of mercy. The truth is, after reclaiming the throne, she brought in some bloody policies and used that sharp brain of hers to wipe out all the opposition. However, she was so brutal that people called her the Bloody Queen, and eventually she had to live in constant fear until she was hunted down and assassinated shortly after. But with today's turn of events, our guy won't need to do any of that pointless work for her anymore. Consider it a favor to the people of the Holy Kingdom so they don't have to suffer through the same misery as before. So the coup forces took power, and everything returned to peace. Talk about having some extraordinary tolerance. Finally, after 2 days of travel, the group returned to the palace a day late, sure. But after getting chewed out by the Emperor for a bit, it was over. The heroes' debut match had arrived. Even though it was late, the crowd was just as packed. There were even healers there for the guys' Alex's violent spectacle. Those healers had one job: keep healing the victims, so Alex could keep torturing them to his heart's content. After some trash talk, the two of them dove into the fight. Mostly it was the other guy attacking, just like last time. Alex really wanted to kick Men's ass. His moves were a bit different than before, focusing on the surrounding area to keep him from escaping. He thought he was the one winning, but nope. Men is different now because he dared to touch the little quail. Men showed him a lesson, hitting back every single time before sending the Sword King to his final resting place. Men even offered some heartfelt advice to Alex. The most important thing in a fight is eliminating every potential threat for the future. As soon as the Sword King croaked, the teacher showed up to lecture him about how tolerance is a virtue a hero must have and blah blah. But obviously none of that was getting through to our guy. The captain of the Royal Knights was dead, and the soldiers were panicking. So he flashed the radiant smile he'd spent 15 years practicing, waiting for the day he'd be a hero, but it didn't seem to work as well as he thought. Guess he had to try something else. That bastard Alex was the head of the Royal Knights, the guy in charge of the military. So with him dead, it left a huge vacuum in the kingdom. And since Men was the one who skewered him, he had to take over everything the guy left behind. If you can't do it nicely, use force. Our guy raised his hand with a world-weary attitude and ordered the Royal Knights to assemble. If they wanted to die, they didn't have to show up, but the knights were scared senseless. June stepped in to whip them into shape. Looks like after a few threats from the hero, they were behaving a lot better. Men split them into 2 groups, one for La Nouveau to lead and the other to follow him. The first group's destination was the Queen's residence. Open the purple cabinet in the 3rd room and there's a secret passage inside. Keep following the path, lead them in, and wipe out the cultists and gather all the evidence there. The rest followed him into the castle to clear it out and make sure the corrupt ministers couldn't harm the kingdom anymore. The teacher was shocked to see Hansu do a complete 180. It's just that he felt bad for skewering Alex, so he did it. He's never done anything for free before. Then 5 days later, Men launched a massive search and sweep for anyone involved to fix all the problems in the kingdom that he'd struggled so hard to resolve last time. He realized one thing: the system in this world isn't perfect. It's a literal leveling system. Increasing your level slows down aging and boosts the body's endurance, and the benefits it brings only really show once you hit level 5. The problem here is that there are very few ways to level up, and the easiest way for humans is just killing each other. Everyone wants to live a long life and have a healthy body free of sickness. So it's easy to see why knights and warriors are so desperate to level up. They just need to do their jobs well, that's all. Thanks to the endless conflict between humans and demons, wars are constant, providing them with opportunities to gain experience. But for those who lack the ability or simply don't want to join the bloody battles, the alternative is kidnapping and murdering innocent civilians, sacrificing others to get ahead. Initially, the protagonist planned to tie them to rocks and throw them into the sea, but that would be bad for the environment. So he came up with a way to both protect the environment and build influence among the people, creating a substitute for Alex to maintain peace for the kingdom. A substitute who would eventually surpass that guy. The person Hansu decided to leave all that experience to was Cooley. And then, one by one, the nobles were brought out for execution, starting with the queen and her 2 children. The queen was arrested for worshipping demons, and the 2 princes were caught conspiring with criminals to hoard wealth for a war over the throne. At first, Cooley seemed weak and pleaded for their lives. But after the guy gave him a lecture on the atrocities they had committed, he stopped whining. Once they were convicted of selling their souls to the demons, no one dared to complain or question the executions anymore. If even the royals were being dragged out for judgment, what noble would dare to stand up and argue? The people were all waiting for Cooley the executioner to do his job. The more evil deeds someone had done, the more experience points they yielded. The result: a man at level 286. From a slave just 15 days ago, he had become the kingdom's champion of justice, led by the great hero himself, who already had 15 years of experience. And he didn't stop there. He was even more ambitious than that. His goal was to put Cooley on the throne instead of letting that fool take power with the remaining princess as his queen. The emperor had become useless because Hansu had decided to execute the queen and her son instead of locking them away. It seemed he intended to cover everything up by spinning a story that demons had infiltrated the palace and dealt with them. He planned to hide her in the secret tunnels, and he intended to use the same method to save the princes, but in reality, during the first loop, those two princes had caused the protagonist the most trouble. So for the sake of cleansing the kingdom, there was no reason for him to keep that trash around. Now it was the final step in the plan to put the man who upheld justice, the one who cleansed the kingdom, in power. And then a grand wedding took place, even though the princess might still face whispers and suspicions about being a demon worshipper. Even though she hadn't done anything wrong other than wearing underwear with a bear print, which they tried to blame her for, everything would be fine. After the hero's purge spread across Fantasia, the wedding between Cooley and the princess was held in a joyous atmosphere at the palace. An elderly man with snowy white hair stood solemnly, hands clasped, blessing the newlyweds and whispering prayers for their happiness and success. In their lives, he pointed toward a sparkling chest of gold on the side and said, "This is a humble gift from the Empire. I hope it proves useful on your path to conquer the Demon King. Please accept this token of our sincerity." Kang Hansu sat to one side, chin in hand, flashing a slightly embarrassed smile as he said, "You really didn't need to go through all the trouble of bringing gifts. Today is all about Cooley and the princess." But looking around at the mountain of gifts piled up by the gods, he shook his head. "Well, fine. Maybe I'll stop by your empire sometime to return the favor properly." Hearing this, the white-haired old man broke into a cold sweat and hurriedly knelt on the ground. "No, please don't trouble yourself. Our country has no difficulties whatsoever. There is no need for the hero to intervene. Our people are living in peace and happiness. This is an enchanted armor forged by our most talented hands and souls. Please accept it, and may it be a sturdy shield to help you defeat the Demon King." Upon hearing that Kang Hansu was still single, the princess of our holy nation expressed interest. "However, please do not misunderstand. We have absolutely no intention of binding you with marriage. With the emperor having just passed away, our holy nation wouldn't dare disturb you. And to be honest, our land is still very safe. Our nobles frequently deal with pirates, so we don't need your assistance. Please don't bother visiting our small, shabby country." Kang Hansu lay back comfortably on the pile of gold, laughing heartily. "Although this wasn't my original goal, who would ever say no to more money?" Lanuvo watched him, seeing that her hero seemed to be thoroughly enjoying the situation. She sighed, but smiled, seeing him happier. She whispered, "Well, it's better than seeing you depressed." Hansu replied lazily, "Are you sad about something?" Lanuvo shook her head. "It's just, you're a legendary hero. How can they just keep bribing you with wealth so shamelessly?" Hansu laughed and waved it off. "Just leave them be. Consider it their way of showing respect through material things." Lanuvo shrugged helplessly. Hansu continued, "Actually, among all these gifts, none of them are truly useful to me. The enchanted armor, the enchanted sword, the X-rank stamina, they're all just for show. The Endymion sword is powerful, but it's just going to gather dust. And these experience-boosting potions, they're satisfying, but unfortunately they only work for levels below 300. He opened a chest and sighed. "Now how am I supposed to deal with all this stuff?" Cooley stood to the side, his face pale, hands trembling. As a level 325 human with the judge profession, his stats were Judgment A, Integrity B, Survival C, Swordsmanship C, and Courage D. In a state of extreme anxiety, he stammered, "Kang Hansu, is it really okay for me to keep these items?" Hansu leaned back on the pile of gold, smiling, "Of course." Hansu continued waving his hand, "All this equipment and wealth. You can use them or sell them, it's up to you." The servant bows repeatedly, thanking Lord Kang Hansu. Hansu raises one finger to the sky, his voice stern, "But remember this, well, I'll only say it once. Everything else can be used or sold, except for these 2 blue vials. Do not under any circumstances sell them. Drink them instead. If I find out you've sold them," Hansu's gaze turns sharp, "you'll definitely become experience points for me." The servant dressed in solemn armor replies, "I have memorized every word, my lord." Hansu chuckles to himself. That's that, then. His duty to this kingdom is fulfilled. With all that equipment and the 2 experience potions, that guy can replace Alex. Now the peace of the kingdom will be maintained. Without needing me. Hansu turns to Lanuvo. Lanuvo looks up shyly. "Yes, but you didn't have to give me a gift, my lord." Hansu laughs. "Of course I didn't. Are you crazy?" Lanuvo stands still, momentarily disappointed. Hansu starts walking, gesturing for her to follow. "Let's go. I'm going to show you what a true hero of justice looks like. Your job is to recount everything you see." Lanuvo, surprised, asks, "What are you planning to do?" Kang Hansu smiles and replies, "That's a good question." But it ruins the surprise, saying that Hansu raises his sword, his eyes gleaming. "Doing quests to earn achievements." Lanuvo looks confused. "Achievements," Hansu smiles mysteriously. Just follow me and you'll understand. Now is the time to truly focus on graduating. He reflects on how in the past he spent too much time doing trivial tasks just to earn achievement points. From finding lost cats to helping farmers harvest rice, he didn't even know if he was a hero or a farmer anymore. He even helped a shy guy deliver a love letter only for the girl to confusedly ask, "Is helping a stalker deliver a love letter really something a hero should do?" Haha, he doesn't even know anymore. Hansu sighs. Nobody acknowledges or remembers those little things. The idea that helping others is its own reward doesn't exist in this world. For him, it only increased his stress, slowly pushing him toward depression. He grips his sword tighter, his eyes blazing. But this time it won't be like that. I have a clear goal now. If he waited another year, the Demon King would automatically send experience and resources, but he doesn't have the patience to wait that long. Achieving a feat on par with the Dragon Emperor New Beast is enough. When the graduation time comes, it will definitely be shortened. Hansu smiles, satisfied. Lenovo asks curiously, "Kang Hansu, why are we here?" Hansu looks around and replies calmly, "Just here to settle some business." The two stand under a massive ancient tree surrounded by the peaceful atmosphere of the Elflands. Lenovo is surprised. "Are we at the plaza in front of the magic tower of the capital Elfame?" A few elves nearby look at them with suspicion. Lenovo asks with a nervous laugh, "You're planning to conquer this place, aren't you?" Hansu beams, "Great question, and the answer is yes, I am." Lenovo's mood shifts instantly from happy to panicked. She stammers, "Wait, you're actually going to do that?" "All by yourself," Hansu laughs. "Keep it down, you idiot." "I don't know how I put up with you all this time. I have to admit I'm quite the professional." While the two were still talking, a voice rang out, "We've been waiting for you, Kang Hanso." He turned around to see Prince Nasus stepping out of the tower, continuing thoughtfully, "After receiving your message, I've prepared everything. Thank you for helping us enter Elfheim," Prince Nasus said, reaching out to welcome Hanso with a smile. "Think nothing of it. Being visited by a hero like you is our honor." At the elf feast, Hanso sat back and casually enjoyed the exquisite dishes. This wasn't his first time at an elf feast, so nothing was very surprising. A beautiful elf in a blue dress was plucking a harp, the melodic music echoing throughout the grand hall. Hanso sipped his drink, wondering how they could create such flavors with so few ingredients. Beside him, Lenovo looked at Hanso apprehensively and spoke up. "Why do you look so carefree?" Hanso glanced at her briefly. "Lenovo, stop talking nonsense. Typically, elf food consists of grains and vegetables because they believe that killing animals or plucking a leaf could anger the spirits and diminish the blessings the elves receive." Prince Nasus raised his glass, smiling as he shared, "My sister Sylvia used to be very passionate about cooking with the spoils of our hunts. She upset the spirits more than a few times. Because of those dishes, I used to have a headache over her marriage prospects. That day she used a blade to stab a boar to death, picked up her sword, and laughed out loud, 'Heh, heh, heh, meat.'" Prince Nasus, sitting beside him, added, "But that's all over now." Kang Hanso replied, "I understand. If one were to sit around bad-mouthing Sylvia, you could talk until morning and not finish." Over the past 950 days, her passion for meat was no stranger to me. The life of the future Elf Queen. She was inherently full of violence, and her love for eating meat perhaps partly stemmed from her personality of not caring what others thought. Kang Hanso sighed. "I don't know why, but I keep feeling nauseous whenever I remember those things." Prince Nasus continued, "Kang Hanso, it seems you've become stronger, hasn't it?" "Even if just a little," Kang Hanso responded modestly. "This guy is still as sharp as ever." Prince Nasus poured more wine for Kang Hanso and said, "Ha ha ha, I truly didn't expect you to be able to defeat the Dragon Emperor Nubs. Come on, have another glass." This wine had been brewed from elemental fruits for over 100 years, offering a magnificent flavor. Bringing it out to treat the hero who defeated the Dragon Emperor was clearly not a bad idea. Compared to that useless girl Sylvia who once had the chance to be Queen, Kang Hanso is 1,000 times better. Thinking back on how I once raised a hand against him, I feel so guilty. I suddenly remembered someone else, the personal guard of Grand Prince Nasus, one of the strongest people ranked only behind the Elf King and the Grand Prince herself. She belonged to the half-elf race, level 990 plus, bearing the title of the Undefeated Loyal Knight. Her skills were all at ranks S and A, Undefeated S swordsmanship, elemental magic, archery, A with an unwavering fighting spirit. Whether the coup would succeed or not, depended heavily on her. Even if the Elf King was the strongest in Elfheim, he couldn't resist the second and third strongest in the kingdom attacking at the same time. She alone was enough to take on my entire hero party thanks to her terrifying combat instincts and S-rank undefeated skill, but in the end she was defeated. She was, only because of some ridiculous power of friendship. Kang Hanso just raised his glass to drink, his mind swirling with thoughts of her name. What was it again? Oh well, just remember Alpha, and that's enough. Prince Nasus interrupted his train of thought. This is Ares, my most trusted guard. She looks quiet, but sure, she understands human strength very well. Ah, so that's her name, Hanso thought. Perhaps because her mother was human, her swordsmanship was perfect thanks to the combination of both races. Thinking about this, he suddenly realized the reason she joined the coup. The hatred between the Elf King, that elf princess, and humans was just that great, wasn't it? It seems Grand Prince Nasus knows exactly what he's doing right now. Suddenly, a door was flung wide open and a loud shout rang out. Nasus, what the hell are you doing? How could you let these animals set foot in the sacred halls of Elfheim? Have you lost your mind? That voice belonged to the only person allowed to speak to the Grand Prince like that. Nasus's father, the supreme ruler of Elfheim, the Elf King, Kang Hanso thought to himself. The old geezer, now I understand where that little Sylvia inherited that personality from. Prince Nasus replied with composure, Please calm down, father. I am entertaining a hero. The Elf King, though angry, couldn't contain his frustration. A hero! But he is still a human. Last time, even though I heard news he had been killed in a coup. I still haven't had a chance to meet him directly like this. He pointed at Hanso as if to confirm the identity of the uninvited guest. Hanso thought to himself, Let's see if he has anything I need to be cautious of. Suddenly, a notification appeared in his mind. The system immediately provided information. Race High Elf level 999, plus Occupation Puppet King reputation. Tyrant, Elemental Magic S, Archery. C, Swordsmanship, C, Character D. Politics, a status angry. This is the skill set of an Elf King, Hanso muttered to himself. If you don't count the race and occupation, he looks like someone who just hit level 999 plus. A sense of anxiety lurked in his heart when facing the strength and the anger of the Elf King. The Elf King angrily criticized the prince just a moment ago. My sister was murdered by these animals, Nasus. Have you really lost all your feelings? He turned to look at Kang Hansu, thinking to himself that for someone who had lived long enough to become an ancient being, his level must be incredibly high. Have you forgotten what the spirits told us? The Elf King continued, his voice full of rage. What kind of humiliation and fear did my sister suffer before they killed her, and yet you still side with this vermin? Kang Hansu sighed, realizing that not only his skills, but also his judgment had dulled from sitting on the throne for too long. Prince Nasus couldn't hold back anymore. He stood up and slammed the table. Your Majesty! Sylvia's death had nothing to do with humanity. It was her own arrogance and contempt for everything that drove her to the end, the Elf King shouted, furious. Enough, Nasus! The prince continued. At least the fear and humiliation she faced before dying finally made her realize that this world isn't all rainbows and, as she thought, honestly, as someone who shared the same blood as Sylvia, I was very happy when I realized she had finally matured, even if it was a bit late. The Elf King flew into a rage, flames erupting all around him. You are not my son. Just bringing those animals into Elfheim is enough to exile you from my kingdom. Suddenly a blade flashed out, piercing the Elf King's chest. The fire dragon appeared, causing everyone to scream, Your Majesty! Kang Hansu nonchalantly said, Oops, my hand slipped, my bad. In the first coup, Nasus himself had ended the life of his own father, the Elf King, and he became the new ruler of Elfheim. Picking up the crown, Prince Nasus declared, You don't need to worry about the future of the elven race anymore. Rest in peace, father. Nasus placed the crown on his head, asserting his new power. Aris spoke up from behind, Lord Nasus, but the prince turned and glared at her. Realizing her mistake, she knelt and said, All hail the Elf King. I hope that under your rule, Elfheim will prosper forever. Nasus reached out to help Aris up, saying, Stand up, Aris. The new era of the new Elf King had begun. Let us witness a new future for Elfheim together. But this revolution did not last long. After 100 days, the heroes' party rose up to help Sylvia take the throne. A sense of emptiness filled the air, as if the hero and the successor to the Elf King were both being tormented by hatred. Free me from this hatred. A large stone with a face spoke to Kang Hansu. Nasus, I told you, you fool, to be careful with that bastard, didn't I? An old bald man wearing a red crown looked toward the gods below and said, You should have realized it when he started acting nice to the humans. Those with ties to the old Elf King harshly criticized the coup. Even within the elven race, political instability was unavoidable. Would I eventually share the same fate in the future? Even those with power among humanity could not escape this unease, and as a result, Nasus and his party were turned against by all of Fantasia, forced to confront the heroes' party, who had the backing of almost every kingdom on the continent. Kang Hansu thought to himself, I returned for the sake of Elfheim. The Elf King had passed away. It was the hero himself who had murdered the leader of Elfheim. The old man with the red crown said to the gods below, "It has begun. The monster, no. The monster. The hero's true intentions have been revealed." An old man with a beard below asked, "The Elf King had an incredibly high level and he still killed him. Is it true that he defeated the Dragon Emperor Nebius?" "The Elf King was only the beginning," the bald man replied. "He will eliminate all the kings of Fantasia, or at least turn them all into puppets to do his bidding. Then this entire continent will belong to him." The bald man with the red crown lamented, "The hero we summoned to defeat the Demon King. It will bring this world to its end." Suddenly a soldier in armor appeared, shouting, "Your Majesty! I have just received a report from the hero at the Magus Tower Plaza." An image of Kang Han-su was projected on the tower. The soldier recounted, "According to the hero, the Elf King attacked him first. With the excuse that he was a human, the Elf King's death was merely an accident from a justified act of self-defense. I feel very sorry about what happened. Furthermore, attacking a guest who came with peaceful intentions. If it were you, everyone would surely feel angry, right? Indeed, hearing that everyone sighed, this is bad." The bald old man with the red crown said, "This is it. The chance for us to escape annihilation has arrived. We need an explanation for that attack. Was the Elf King acting like that because he was a minion of the Demon King? The long-eared minion of the Demon King is dead. Let us destroy the rest and bring peace to Fantasia." The soldiers of the bald man in the red crown, they shouted in unison, "Destroy the elves, destroy Elfheim!" Kang Han-su laid back leisurely, thinking to himself that it wasn't too bad. Those who followed the old king hadn't shown any reaction yet, and the fact that no one blamed the hero's actions meant they seemed to have accepted the excuse he gave. "So my score remains intact, I suppose." The masked girl with long hair standing behind Kang Han-su sighed. "So you waited for the Elf King to fall into the prince's trap and then finished him off. Although no one says anything to your face, deep down they may not feel the same. Moreover, wasn't that self-defense a bit excessive? Remember that everything has its limits. A bowstring will surely snap if pulled beyond its capacity." Kang Han-su replied, "Looks like the professor arrived early. She told me she came here because of your unusual case. Under normal circumstances, things should have played out like this. In Scenario 02, Nasus dies in an accident caused by the hero's party. In Scenario 194, Ares becomes the hero's lover, and Nasus fails to recruit allies. That whole coup business was nonsense. It was all meant to stop the Grand Prince's uprising, but you, Kang Han-su, were the first to directly kill him. You killed the former Elf King, and things happened so fast we couldn't predict them, so I came here to find out what exactly went wrong." Kang Han-su laughed. "Aha, I finally know how to get your attention. If only there was something that could record these unique once-in-a-lifetime moments. It would be great to have that for my graduation, wouldn't it?" The girl replied angrily. "Absolutely not. I'll be back after I handle some urgent documents. At the latest, I'll be here tomorrow. Until then, please try to treat your teammates well. I'm begging you." Kang Han-su thought about Lenovo and coolly, then happily replied, "Small matter. Don't worry, I only have 2 teammates anyway." The girl shouted angrily, "Even the old ones, too!" Kang Han-su muttered, "Damn, what is wrong with her? I made Cooley strong enough to replace even that guy Alex, a perfect teammate in every way. What do my old teammates have to do with me? I don't get why she has to make such a big deal out of it." Hearing Kang Han-su say that RSB turned her head, she retorted, "It's understandable that humanity would act that way. The hope of all mankind was attacked just because he was human. Who could accept that?" Seeing her holding a box, Kang Han-su asked, "Oh, Aris, what are you holding?" Aris replied, "It's a gift from the new Elf King Nasus for you. These are ancient elf artifacts that can boost skill efficiency, the Pope's Ring that increases experience gain, and World Tree Sap that hides the secrets of creation." Kang Han-su thought, "Now that's some good stuff. Finally, something actually useful to me. I admit Nasus has met the criteria to become my number 2 sponsor after the Demon King." Aris sighed. "Whew. In this elf kingdom, I truly have no one to talk to. Please forgive my insolence. Because I carry human blood, my mind is always trapped between the elves and humanity, so I never had enough confidence to get close to other elves. Seeing humanity's potential, Lord Nasus encouraged me and helped me overcome those barriers. But he was only the second most powerful person in the Elf Kingdom, and the leader. The former Elf King absolutely hated humans and was always ready to wage war against them. I was always terrified that when the war broke out, I wouldn't know whose side to take." She continued, "When I saw the Endymion blade fly out of your hand and pierce the Elf King's heart, even though it was a dark and disrespectful thought, it appeared just like that, relieving all the tension I'd been carrying." Aris confided in Kang Han-su, not knowing that Prince Nasus was listening behind the wall. "For how long have you been venting?" "Finally, I've been set free. Perhaps this human invasion is my punishment for having those thoughts. Kang Hansu picked his ear and asked, invasion? Don't worry about anything. Did you forget that the great hero is here? How could I pass up an opportunity to increase my personality points and achievements? The scene shifts to the meeting hall in Elfame, where envoys and delegations from various countries are being received. Kang Hansu dipped his hand into a glass of wine and said, "What the hero here wants to say to you all is stop waving those signs and shouting slogans. It's not impressive at all. It doesn't mean anything. Are you all planning to gather here to cause trouble?" The people sitting across from Kang Hansu replied, "We just wanted to come here to demand justice because Kang Hansu was treated poorly by the elves." Kang Hansu leaned on his chin and replied, "We've already taken care of that. So there's no need for you to overreact. And besides, not every elf hates humans like that former elf king did. There are many elves who love peace, like the new elf king here, for example." Right then, the new elf king Nasus appeared, stood next to Kang Hansu, and added, "How could we overlook such rare talent? Just because they aren't elves." The people sitting opposite Kang Hansu gasped, thinking to themselves, "Isn't the hero the patron of the new elf king?" Kang Hansu continued, "That's right. If I'm not mistaken, it seems like a few countries are wanting to use me as an excuse to start a war. If you find it difficult to keep your country peaceful, then just say the word. This hero doesn't mind traveling a long distance to help." The men panicked. "We can handle that ourselves." Kang Hansu, there's no need to trouble yourself with that. Long live the friendship between elves and humans. We ask for permission to return and inform all our citizens about Lord Nasus's coronation as soon as possible. We will return with a delegation to congratulate Lord Nasus later. Nasus waved his hand. "Thanks, everyone. Much appreciated. I'll have a banquet prepared and waiting for your arrival. Long live the new king." The others cheered, praising the expedition for ending so successfully thanks to the great hero's generosity and tolerance. I've earned a massive amount of experience points by slaying the Dragon Emperor, and the Fairy King found a new sponsor and racked up achievement points too. Thanks to the peace negotiations between humanity and the fairy race, the scene cuts to a fire with shouting, "Hurry up and burn everything if we leave any evidence of resistance for the hero to find. Our whole country is doomed. Burn all the banners and those drawings." I gained an achievement for stopping the war, plus a reputation for my love and concern for both humanity and the fairy race. This will definitely be a huge stepping stone for my graduation. Suddenly someone shouted, "Kang Hanso!" Lenovo called out, "Kang Hanso, can you help me with something?" Kang Hanso answered boredly, "What is it? And have you packed your bags yet?" "What's with that outfit? Aren't we leaving Elfame soon?" Lenovo pleaded, "A few days, no. Let's stay here for just one more day, please. The ruins and culture of the elf kingdom that our people have been searching for over these last few thousand years, plus the traces left in our own human lands as well." Lenovo lay down, hugging his leg and begging, "Kang Hanso, if I pass this up now, when will I ever get to see it again? I'm begging you just one more day." Kang Hanso sighed at his sister figure. "Oh, for heaven's sake. I forgot you're an archaeologist. I get it, Lenovo." Lenovo's eyes lit up. Kang Hanso laughed. "Pick up your butt and let's get back to it." Lenovo started crying. "You're so mean. My bad, my bad. The door to graduation is right in front of me now. I can't waste any more time." Kang Hanso thought, maybe my achievement points and reputation have already reached an A rank. It's time to graduate. The scene shifts to a certain castle. "My poor youngest child," the incompetent father said to his daughter, the princess of that kingdom. She replied, "Father." His officials bowed in unison. "Princess, please forgive us, but for His Majesty's life and all of our sakes, we are counting on your marriage." His Majesty continued, "Have you heard that monster killed the Fairy King after defeating the Dragon Emperor? The problem isn't just the Demon King anymore. Our kingdom, no, all of Fantasia will have to stand against him. We'll just have to submit to him as well. You must try to endure and marry him, even if you don't want to. Please at least try to look happy." Cooley sat on the balcony looking miserable. "So this is the famous hero Cooley, huh?" Kang Hanso slowly walked in. Cooley gasped in surprise. "Ah, Kang Hanso, I'm so glad you're back." Kang Hanso stood with his hands on his hips next to Lenovo and replied, "Yeah, everything is all taken care of. While I was gone, you even held a wedding rite. Congrats." Cooley sighed. "About that." Seeing this, Kang Hanso questioned him. "Yeah, what's with that look, Mr. Groom?" Cooley explained slowly. "Thanks to you, I was able to marry the princess, but I don't know if what I'm doing is right or wrong." Kang Hanso asked, confused. According to Cooley, it seemed something happened during the wedding ceremony with the princess. The wedding was underway when suddenly a young man in a white cloak burst in. "I object to this marriage. Princess, don't give in to their threats. I've come here to fulfill our promise together." Seeing this, the princess burst into tears. As Cooley looked at the young man who crashed the wedding, he hung his head and continued, "The moment I saw her expression, I realized he was the one she loved." The humiliation Cooley suffered afterward was immense. Seeing Cooley so sorrowful and desperate after what happened with his wife reminded me of what the professor said back then. "Please treat your teammates well, I'm begging you." Kang Hanso patted Cooley fine. "I didn't want to leave any loose ends anyway." The wedding crasher was hiding behind a large rock looking toward the palace. "Wait for me, princess. I will save you no matter what." He didn't know Kang Hanso was standing behind him with a murderous glare. "This is punishment for daring to ruin a family's happiness." Kang Hanso struck him, knocking him flat onto the ground. Kang Hanso asked, "Who are you?" The guy turned and looked at Kang Hanso. "How is this possible?" After seeing Kang Hanso's face, he said fearfully, "Kang Hanso." Kang Hanso put his hands on his waist and laughed. "Oh ho, I remember you now. You're the guy who ran off with the princess the first time around, aren't you?" He said, trembling. "The first time, you monster, what kind of nonsense are you talking about? He's just an ape who couldn't control his own base urges and went off to steal another man's wife." As he said this, Kang Hanso blew out a cloud of purple smoke, adding, "It's time to end this." The young man who stole the bride reached out to beg Prince Hanso for help, but he was quickly engulfed by the smoke. Kang Hanso thought to himself, how interesting. Doing such trivial things. I always feel normal whenever I succeed at something, but why this time? Does it make me feel so proud? I hope that because of this, Cully won't be sad anymore. Yeah, that must be it. This is truly what it feels like to do a good job at something, and it seems like I'm also nearing the finale of this story. The princess stood by the window, reaching out to catch the moonlight as if the hero had brought justice, after silently dealing with the wicked wretch who wanted to tear a family's happiness apart. Cooley didn't have to be sad anymore, and he would live happily ever after. Kang Hanso told him, "Never forget what I've done for you, okay? The future of this kingdom depends on you." Lanuvo waved her hand, saying, "See you later." Cooley waved back. "Safe travels." Kang Hanso ran fast, raising his hand to the sky. "Time to go home." Lanuvo scrambled to run after him. "Wait for me, Kang Hanso Maladios, I'm coming back." Kang Hanso asked Lanuvo. "Yes," she replied. "I have an extremely important mission I want to entrust to you." Kang Hanso continued. Lanuvo broke into a cold sweat. "Yes, go ahead, tell me." "From now on, you are not allowed to walk in front of me. Just stick to the back. Understand?" Lanuvo let out a sigh of relief. "Yes, sir." Kang Hanso continued. "And use your magic to broadcast everything that's about to happen to the people of fantasy." The people of fantasy were amazed to see the image of Kang Hanso projected on the tower. His courage. The citizens were shocked when they saw Hanso. "Is that the hero? Where is that place? That doesn't look like our country, does it?" The hero swept away the entire demon horde right there in the demon realm. Kang Hanso continued, "I don't care how stupid you are, but at least you should be able to do this much right." Lanuvo replied, "I'm sure I can." A few one-eyed demons in the demon realm were talking to each other. Demo, hey, let's go eat. I heard they've got some hostage dish in the Four Kings Hall. Momo, make sure to eat your fill. DEVI... Something's not right. DVV. Suddenly, they felt a chill to the bone. In the sky, a long-beaked bird slowly fell to the ground. The one-eyed demons panicked at the sight. They approached to check on the bird. They said to each other, "Go." Lanuvo, wearing the bird mask, said to Kang Hanso, "In the hero records I've read, no one has ever done something like this." Kang Hanso exhaled a cloud of purple smoke and replied, "Don't compare those weaklings to me." Kang Hanso thought to himself, "I will spread poison to every corner of the Demon King's territory. The sky, the ground, the rivers, the lakes, all will be poisoned." The one-eyed demons inhaled the toxic gas that Kang Hanso blew out and collapsed on the ground, dead. That way, not a single one would survive. The people in fantasy saw the scene and were stunned. "Oh my God!" Lanuvo asked Kang Hanso. "Isn't this a bit too ruthless?" Kang Hanso, still blowing out the purple smoke, replied, "Huh? Oh, don't worry about anything. Even though I might lose a little experience for not killing the demons directly, that little bit of experience is nothing. It's fine to have it, and it's fine not to. Of course, using poison alone couldn't kill all the demons. The larger demons would be able to hold out a little longer." A big demon was inhaling Kang Hanso's purple toxic gas and panicked, Ugh, what are you doing? Is this world coming to an end? Not quite that far yet." Kang Hanso spoke up. The demon panicked and asked, "Who are you?" "The only way to find the Demon King is to take down all his minions." Kang Hanso replied, "I am the hero of justice. Last time it took me a lot of struggle to realize that. Now the demons in the central part of the continent have been wiped out. Surely this is an achievement no one has ever done before." "Right. Lanuvo replied, yes, you are the only one. Kang Hanso smiled brightly. Maybe right now my achievement and reputation points are already at S rank. Lanuvo asked in surprise, huh, what points? Suddenly the female professor appeared and said, I don't even know what I should say anymore. Should I call you Professor Kang Hansu? Of course you wouldn't know what to say, since I've done everything perfectly. You've seen how inconvenient the last time was, right? I couldn't possibly have been any stronger. Because I always had to worry about my teammates. Thanks to them, I couldn't defeat a single boss, and it took me an incredibly long time. I barely managed to set foot in the Demon King's castle, but those guys... Every time they took down a small fry, they threw a party like they'd just saved the whole world, all thanks to the power of friendship. Now look at this. Fantasia is no longer under threat from any demons. Isn't that something no hero has ever done before? Not in the past. You might be right, the professor replied. Now let's see what your final grade will be. I'll give you one last piece of advice. Immerse yourself in the world. If you care about the world will care about you. That's all. I wish you victory. And I hope you graduate soon, Kang Hansu. Yeah, thanks, he replied. But hey, what grade are you planning to give me? The professor answered, I don't know, grading is outside of my jurisdiction. Even though this was a surprisingly short course, thank you for listening to my lecture. Thanks, Professor, Kang Hansu said, then turned to Lanuvo. You can take it off now. Once we get to the end of this hallway, we'll reach the Demon King Padona's room. Lanuvo took off her mask and asked, How do you know this place so well? It's not easy to gather information on this place you know, Kang Hansu said as he turned to walk away. Last time this place looked even worse, corpses lying around, limbs scattered everywhere. It was all because back then, I spent way too much time grinding levels. Lanuvo, Kang Hansu called out. Yes, she replied. Thanks for always trying your best to help me. This adventure wasn't as boring as I thought it'd be. And one more thing. Kang Hansu continued. Make sure to find yourself a rich husband who's good with money and have a kid. Just don't let the kid take after your personality, that's all. Lanuvo snapped. If you're going to criticize me, don't say it like that. Just kidding, Kang Hansu replied. From now on, I'm going alone. If you follow me and get yourself killed by association, don't blame me for not warning you. Are you sure you'll be okay? Please take care of yourself too, Lanuvo said. All right, Kang Hansu said. Compared to last time, everything is absolutely perfect. Even though my combat skills are a bit weaker, it's enough for me to take down the Demon King. Thanks to Lanuvo's magic, all of Fantasia knows what I've done. My achievements and reputation are set, and I don't need to worry about my character score. So after thinking it over carefully, Kang Han Desapa Su kicked the door open and shouted, Where is the Demon King Padona? We have a guest, so why is it so quiet? There's no reason I shouldn't graduate now. After I defeat you, Demon King, prepare yourself to be beaten by me. The Demon King, who was busy cuddling with his lover, heard Kang Hansu's shout. He turned around, panicked. Kang Hansu, why are you here? Seeing him like that, Kang Hansu scratched his head awkwardly. Sorry for ruining the mood. The Demon King shouted angrily. What kind of hero are you? Don't you know how to knock? That's basic etiquette, hero. Kang Hansu crossed his arms and replied, I thought that being a Demon King just meant spending your days sitting bored on a throne. I assume you're one of the elf victims from the outside kidnappings elf fame, right? She snapped, Kidnappings. Don't you dare misunderstand. The system popped up, High Elf Level 482. Occupation Queen. Personality, soft-hearted / vicious skills. Charm S vicious. S elemental. S archery. A. Status, amused, embarrassed, angry. She replied, Padona and I have mutual respect for each other. Besides, this isn't just some ordinary relationship. The Demon King nodded shyly. That makes me blush. Kang Hansu spoke up. You're the Elf Queen, the Elf King's wife. Remembering Aris's words, Kang Hansu thought to himself, my mother was killed by this Demon King in the most brutal way. This grudge, I will make him pay it back with interest. It seemed Hansu had helped Padona get rid of an uninvited guest. The Demon King turned to his lover and said, To be safe, you should head back to the room first. I'll be right back. She pouted, Fine. I'll be waiting for you in bed. Hey, Sikava, looks like you really don't know how to pick your battles. If she were still alive to see this, I wonder what kind of mess she'd cause. Kang Hanso thought to himself, staring at the Demon King's blood-red eyes. Demon King, aren't you showing up a little too early? Kang Hanso thought, wait, is this a time loop? Going back to the past like nothing ever happened. Does my early arrival here really cause you that much trouble? Maybe because I'm human, it took me too long to say goodbye to my family before heading out. Or perhaps I'm just not strong enough to face you yet. Doesn't everything become clear once we start fighting? The Demon King growled in anger. The thing you're holding isn't even a sword. What gives you the right to be so confident? The Demon King laughed loudly, his voice echoing, "Ha ha ha, you fool, is that it? You're no different from the idiots before you. Just a bunch of brats calling themselves heroes of justice, always spouting noble words only to be crushed by me before they could even gasp. I am the Demon King Pedinar, the origin of darkness, the one who stands above the 5 great calamities. No one has ever dared to boast in front of me and lived to tell the tale, and yet here you are, someone who was only summoned a month ago. No sword, nothing. I'm starting to think you don't even have a brain to think with." Kang Hanso replied calmly, "Not a month. Actually, it's been 22 days. And as for why I'm here, isn't that a pretty stupid question? You already know the answer, don't you?" The Demon King was furious, but Kang Hanso continued. "People say you need a sword to destroy you, but for me, this is more than enough." Hanso calmly checked all the information about the Demon King, knowing his strength was undeniable. The system displayed the info: Demon King race, Demon Lord, level 999+, class Demon King, signature skills, SSS rank, immunity to status effects, SS rank swordsmanship, SS rank immortality, SS rank indestructible body, status calculating, contradicting, vigilant. However, his class has a major flaw. No matter how high his level is, whenever he faces a hero, he receives a penalty. It affects both his level and his skills. I don't know the exact penalty, but it's definitely related to why they have to summon people from other worlds to face the Demon King. The Demon King shouted, "You arrogant fool, is that twig you're holding your only weapon? Maybe I don't even need to use it. The origin of evil. If I don't, my pride won't be worth anything." Kang Hanso chuckled, "Heh heh heh. My sword isn't just any ordinary blade." The Demon King saw Kang Hanso's sword, and a sense of fear rose in his heart. This had never happened before. He had never witnessed energy this terrifying. "Dragon, does your sword have any connection to that species?" Kang Hanso raised his sword to the sky. "This is the elemental mirror Endymion, a treasure of the Elven Kingdom. It seems all the demons and monsters I've used it to slaughter have left it tainted. Purifying it to the state it's in today wasn't easy." Kang Hanso whispered, "Come now, my lovely Endymion, are you ready?" The Demon King retorted in a rage, "Am I supposed to be afraid of you? Let's show them the bond between us." Kang Hanso swung his sword at the Demon King. The Demon King let out a mournful cry and collapsed to the ground. Seeing him like that, Kang Hanso breathed a sigh of relief. He's even weaker right now than the first time around. I finally understand the penalty he has to pay for his Demon King class. The system notification appeared: Demon King class sub-hero. This means the Demon King's level gets dragged down to the hero's level. In other words, the stronger the hero is, the weaker the Demon King's penalty becomes. So that's why he always sends a ton of experience, so the hero can level up. Kang Hanso was furious. He treated me like a dog to be controlled going on some pathetic adventure. The system asked, "Hero, did you enjoy your adventure?" Hanso replied, "Yes, this adventure was extremely useful. I will definitely keep my diligent nature after I return to Earth." The system continued, "The path to becoming a hero was not easy, but thanks to the great expectations of countless people, you found the motivation to not lose faith and hope from your companions. You learned about love, friendship, and unity, and finally you defeated the cruel Demon King together." Kang Hanso smiled happily. "Yes, I have learned a great many things." He thought to himself, same old rambling as the first time. The system continued, "Congratulations on your victory." Kang Hanso laughed. "Heh heh heh, thank you very much." He thought it's best not to show any attitude right now. It might affect the results. "Now let's check your score." Hanso smiled brightly, full of anticipation. "Here we go. The most important moment is here. Please score be high." Kang Hanso shouted, "I really want to go home now." The system announced, "Please check the information very carefully." Hanso said excitedly, "Keep going." The system displays name: Kang Hansu strategy, rank A achievement SS. Kang Hansu beams SS, rank sweet. Keep it coming. But then immediately after, the system shows reputation E. Kang Hansu is stunned. Huh. The system continues. Personality SS. Note, graduation may pose a danger to Earth and other heroes. Kang Hansu is confused. "Hey, hold on a minute." "Judges, please let me say a few words." He kneels down. "I'll try my best to live a quiet life on Earth. Think about it, how could I possibly cause any harm? To the place where I was born and raised, if Earth were destroyed, how would I even survive?" "Right." The system replies, "You have failed." Hansu yells in anger, "Are you people insane? Why The system provides the reason. Instead of repenting and fixing your past mistakes, you abused your power without regard for right and wrong. You engaged in excessive, unnecessary violence, causing resentment and fear, affecting the peace and order of the world's population. You will be sent back to the first day of the assessment. The entire faculty will adjust the course content. Upon hearing this, Kang Han-soo feels like he's been struck by lightning. Your progress will be calculated by the instructors. Everyone is looking forward to your improvement. An instructor has been appointed to guide Han-soo. Kang Han-soo feels like collapsing. Lenovo suddenly appears. Greetings, Kang Han-soo. Han-soo lies on the ground and mutters. So it's really the third time, huh? Lenovo calls out to him again. Kang Han-soo replies, This is the first time you've summoned me to this world. This is Fantasia, a world completely different from the one where I was born and raised. He thinks back. In novels, the protagonist usually only gets one chance to redo things, and then everything ends. Why is it like this? Lenovo answers, Although you don't grasp everything yet, I will explain it to you one by one later. Han-soo angrily retorts, I've already defeated the Demon King. Twice already. What else is there to not understand? If any novel or movie were written like this, it would definitely get shredded by the readers. Lenovo introduces herself. I am Lenovo, an archaeologist, always seeking knowledge and the one who summoned you here according to ancient legends. Furthermore, the name Lenovo in the ancient language means truth. Kang Han-soo laughs helplessly. Ha ha ha, this is the third time I've heard that, you know. What if I killed this girl right here and now? I wonder if there'd be anything new this third time. The professor, hearing Han-soo's inner thoughts, speaks up, Keep those thoughts to yourself. Even a single word can cause a major problem. Besides, she is a person of significant influence in this country. Student Kang Han-soo, I sincerely hope you will abandon the idea of killing innocent people just to see if something new happens. Kang Han-soo replies, Professor, we meet again. The professor replies, That is truly a pity, but isn't it also something to celebrate that you are the first person to ever achieve the highest score? Thanks to you conquering the Chaos Dragon Emperor and destroying the Demon King in 22 days. He continues, I am certain your name will be carved into the Hall of Fame. Forever after, congratulations to you. Kang Han-soo sighs, How is this place any different from hell? Lenovo calls out again, Kang Han-soo strive to sacrifice. The minimum to achieve the maximum result in the shortest time. All I did was stop criminals from abusing their power, exterminate the demons, and destroy the Demon King. Isn't that extremely beneficial for the people of this world? Why did my reputation score drop from D to E? Han-soo realizes, it's because of the Dragon Emperor incident. Surely no one knows I awakened the new beast. But the fact that the dragon destroyed half of the continent's center will definitely leave many victims. The survivors of that disaster will need a target to vent their resentment that they had to endure. Of course, the most hateful name at the time is me, the newly summoned hero, just because of that. My personality and reputation scores went into a freefall, those pieces of trash. Why don't they think about what a hero who's only been summoned for 10-something days could possibly do, since the first time I've done everything I could? Finding lost items, finding missing people. But whenever anything goes wrong, they dump it all on me, making me the villain in their eyes. Lenovo calls out, Hey, Kang Han-soo! His Majesty is waiting for us! A soldier speaks up. Kang Han-soo yells angrily, Quiet! The soldier standing behind Lenovo says, Hero, although you don't understand everything yet, we cannot delay any longer. Han-soo replies, What the king is waiting for me. That's right, the soldier confirms. Han-soo sits in silence, feeling lazy. I'm the one who should be waiting for him. The soldier replies. Han-soo asks, Let me ask you one thing. How many heroes are there in this world? Who can defeat the Demon King? Only 2. The soldier replies, That's right, there are 2. Han-soo continues, If the king dies, there will be a prince to succeed him. But he suddenly wakes up. You just said there are 2. Hi there! A guy wearing glasses and a yellow shirt walks in. I called you earlier, but you didn't answer. The system displays information, race high, human level 1 occupation. Hero gain 500% skill. Exp. He explains with an expectant and excited look, introducing himself as a high school student from Seoul, South Korea. I'm 17 this year, and I love gaming and reading. Kang Han-soo murmurs to himself, looking at the data. It's obvious this guy is just a total newbie. Expectant, hopeful, excited. Is this guy for real? Doesn't he find it at all suspicious that he was kidnapped to another world? Is it really necessary to be this calm? Yes, that's exactly how I met you, Hero B, he replies with a bright smile. The guard looks straight at Kang Han-soo and says, His Majesty is still waiting. Hearing that, Han-soo feels annoyed and thinks to himself, What's with that look? Am I not allowed to be emotional? It's been 15 days since I last saw someone from Earth. Is that a crime? Kang Hanso reaches into his pocket for a pen. Just having this would be enough to... But then he stops. Oh wait, I can't. The situation is different now. If it were just me, hero planning would be easy. But now with Hero B in the mix, saving the world is going to take a lot more thought. Whatever. We're both heroes anyway, Hanso thinks. How unfortunate for this kingdom. We beseech you, noble heroes, please show mercy and save us. The king, dressed in red robes, kneels and begs from his throne. Hanso speaks up. Listen to what the person who kidnapped us here is saying. Hero B, what do you think? Hero B, sitting next to him, replies angrily, What do I think? What do you mean, what do I think? We're still young, just high school students, and you guys have the nerve to kidnap us. This is a heinous crime. You're no better than those villains who kidnap minors who should be in school using the excuse of defeating the Demon King to shove us onto a battlefield. You guys are absolute savages. All of that was just in Kang Hanso's imagination. He tells himself that even with two people, as long as they can cooperate well, then things should be fine. Hero B turns to the guard and says, Yes, Sir Knight, we can't keep His Majesty waiting. I will definitely save this kingdom from the Demon King's clutches. That was my dream after all. Kang Hanso is shocked to hear what Hero B says. What the? Hero B continues. Right, my Korean name is probably hard to pronounce, so you don't need to call me that anymore. Hanso's jaw drops in shock. Lenovo chuckles. Now, calm down, Kang Hanso. Mr. Kang, do you know any good names? Hero B has decided to call himself Sai. He hears this and says, I'm claiming that name from now on, all right? Hanso is incredibly surprised and wonders, this guy's adaptability is truly remarkable. Hero Sai thinks that's the name of a protagonist in a mobile game. The guy who eventually becomes a great hero and marries the Saintess. I bet he chose that name because he wants a future just like that. Hanso asks, Hey, Hero B, do you miss your parents? What about your friends? Everyone back on Earth must be really worried about you. Hero B replies, Not really. Is something wrong with that? Hanso feels helpless. Are you kidding? You have no friends, no filial piety? In other words, you have no attachments to your past life anymore. Seeing Hanso worried, Hero C says, Mr. Kang, don't worry about anything. I'll protect you. In Hanso's head, those words echo, Mr. Kang, don't worry about anything. I'll protect you. The professor appears and asks, So how is your new teammate? Is he not good? Hanso is surprised and replies, Right now, my mind is stuck between complete shock and disbelief. The professor continues, He is a hero chosen very carefully after much consideration. And he's someone perfectly suited to work with you. Plus, you've already seen how good his adaptability is, haven't you? Hanso is dejected. After a year, I finally met someone from Earth, but it all went up in smoke after just 10 minutes of talking. He doesn't even have a shred of culture shock after setting foot here. The professor smiles and replies, Student Kang, you don't need to worry, because he is already under the supervision of all the faculty. Arranging a companion like this for you was all part of the calculation. We believe that this time you will definitely be able to graduate. Lenovo says happily. Let me show you the way. Just follow this hallway and we'll meet His Majesty. Hero C replies happily. Oh yes. The professor continues to tell Kang Hanso, learn from his passion and personality, then transform into a true hero and... Let's graduate. Kang Hanso looks at Hero Sai and thinks to himself, this carefully selected candidate has already sold his soul to Lenovo. Thinking back, I was like that too at first. It's really disgusting. This time, Alex didn't make a move when they first met. Hero Sai starts praising Alex. Wow, you look so cool. Alex replies, You're too kind. Kang Hanso and Sai enter the main hall to meet His Majesty. The king sitting on the throne greets them. Welcome to my kingdom, heroes. Kang Hanso bows. Thank you for His Majesty's hospitality. I pray that you will always be in perfect health to rule this land, Your Majesty. The hero. Sai also bowed low to greet the king. The servants and soldiers gazed at Kang Hanso, praising his physique, his voice. Everything was flawless. They were sure he must have been born and raised in a noble family. Then they turned their attention to the other hero, remarking that he was nothing more than a pathetic peasant hiding away in some remote backwater. Hanso heard them and thought to himself, this is the third time already. If I can't even handle this, I might as well quit being a hero. The king spoke up. Heroes, can you see your status windows? The hero Sai opened his status window and replied, Yes, Your Majesty, I can see it very clearly. Race high human. Occupation hero with a 5 times experience multiplier. Skill interpretation rank A. My status is excellent. Beside him, Kang Hanso lazily replied, Seems fine, I guess. Hanso thought to himself, I still can't believe it even now when I look at it. Race high, human level 1. Occupation hero 500% XP boost. Skill interpretation rank A. Status reset. I have to start everything from 0 all over again. I can't let it slip. Kang Han-su told the king, "Your Majesty, I can see it quite clearly. High human level 1 occupation, hero skill interpretation, rank a status good." So that's the true purpose of those little square boxes. The king announced, "Sai and Kang Han-su, you have been chosen as heroes. Because our kingdom is located so close to the Demon King's territory, we are in a state of extreme crisis. Defeat the Demon King Pedinar and his minions to bring peace back to our kingdom." The hero Sai replied excitedly, "Yes, Your Majesty, leave it to us." "Kang Han-su, let's do our best together." Kang Han-su replied slowly, "Understood, Your Majesty. Leave that part to me. You can just rest forever." Seeing Kang Han-su's status window, the professor was shocked. "Student Kang Han-su, how is this possible? Why are all your skills still there even after everything was reset?" Kang Han-su noticed the professor's reaction and thought, could it be? Even the professor doesn't know. So that's the true utility of the square-shaped skills. He replied, "Professor, please remember that I am a student who achieved an SS rank, something no one else has ever done. Besides, since this is my 3rd time, it's not strange at all that these skills remained. How could someone as special as me be on the same level as that newbie over there?" The hero. Sai blushed while looking at the scenery. Kang Han-su continued speaking to the professor. "If I had the same starting point as that guy, that would be the strange thing. You know that, don't you?" The professor helplessly replied, "No, I have no idea how this could have happened." Kang Han-su raised his hands to the sky. "All right, let's do this." He thought, "Good, it's still there. The knowledge Master Mulong passed down is still here. Even though my level is completely gone, as long as I have the skills, then grinding back up is nothing to worry about. You bastards, the management instructors of Fantasia, don't even dream of resetting everything of mine again." The hero Sai saw Kang Han-su's expression and asked, "Kong, is something so funny?" Kang Han-su replied, I was just thinking random thoughts about what this world is like." The hero Sai comforted him. "Don't worry too much. If there's any danger, I'll definitely help you out." Kang Han-su thought to himself, even though it's kind of funny, I have to stay calm, because the professor said he is the ticket I need to graduate and leave this place. He replied to Sai, "From now on, feel free to just call me Han-su. There's no need to be so formal. Since we are civilized people with the same goal of returning to our beloved Earth, we might as well consider ourselves teammates, right?" The hero Sai replied happily, Right, teammates. Then from now on, I won't hesitate to call you Han-su." The two of them happily shook hands, cooperating in a friendly atmosphere. But then Han-su suddenly added, "However, I actually have no intention of returning to Earth." Kang Han-su angrily squeezed his hand tight. Sai let out a cry. My hand," Han-su asked angrily. "So you don't want to kill the Demon King?" Sai replied, "That's not it. Even so, I will still defeat the Demon King." Getting a satisfactory answer, Kang Han-su let go. Sai had to admit, even though you're only level 1 and only have an interpretation rank, a skill like mine, you're really strong. It seems like you worked out really hard when you were on Earth. If I had known I would be a hero, I would have worked out too. Kang Han-su thought he can't see them. Any hero. Ace will gain the ability to see the level and skills of others. So why can't he see all these skills? Could it be because of those square boxes? I've been thinking about what the professor said, but honestly, I still have no clue what that thing is. So until we figure out the answer, don't you dare touch it. Judging by her expression back then, this is a massive deal. Mind if I ask, are those squares used for drawing or something? Even though he didn't fully grasp what those squares could do yet, he wasn't stupid enough to go around asking other people about it. Seeing Kang Han-su lost in thought, Sai continued, "Is something the matter?" Kang Han-su said, "Hey, Sai, you told me you didn't want to go back to Earth, so why are you so intent on killing the Demon King?" Sai replied, "Because he's threatening the lives of innocent people in this world." After hearing that, Kang Han-su responded, "Is that so? Everyone has to make their own choices, and I respect yours." Sai happily ran out of the city gate. "Han-su, let's go out together and find some teammates." "I think that'll be easy enough." Han-su replied, "Yeah, take care of yourself." Sai asked, "Wait, aren't you coming?" "You could just stay here after the Demon King is defeated, you know." After that day, Sai and I decided to part ways, planning to meet again on the day the hero is unveiled. Don't you want to see what this world is really like? Excuse me, I'm not a tourist guide. I've spent 15 years living in this hellhole. I've seen more than enough. Lenovo spotted Kang Han-su. "Kang Han-su, where are you going?" Kang Han-su was surprised. Lenovo replied, "Yes, it's me, Lenovo." Kang Han-su thought to himself, Could you maybe stop acting all cute? That's the first time I've ever seen you pull a face like that. Lenovo asked, Why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be sticking to Sai? She looked surprised. Why would I do that? I'm an archaeologist. I chase ancient legends and study the myths of the heroes who were summoned in the past. That's my job. And Sai, he's the perfect example of what I've been researching. Everything about him is basically identical to the descriptions of the heroes of old. Kang Han-soo realized that he was the one who was different. That realization sparked Lenovo's curiosity, and that's why she was following him. He thought to himself, blah, blah, blah. It's exactly because I'm different that I have to be here. After listening to her ramble, Lenovo continued, Besides, let me tell you something. Fine, go ahead, Kang Han-soo replied. Right now you're walking into a restricted area of the kingdom. Lenovo warned, this place is strictly for hunting, so it could get dangerous. I really should have warned you sooner, but there's still time to turn back. And if the king finds out... Before Lenovo could finish, Kang Han-soo brushed her off. If you don't like it, just turn back. Okay. The two of them continued toward a castle. Kang Han-soo asked, Is this the queen's residence? Kang Han-soo, you were just summoned. How would you know a place like this exists here? Lenovo replied. Suddenly, a dog charged out from the residence at them. Lenovo screamed in terror, Kang Han-soo! Kang Han-soo reassured her, Don't worry about it, just stay close to me. Lenovo broke into a cold sweat. Easy for you to say. She remembered that she was the one who decided to follow him all the way here on her own. Guess we're in the same boat now, Kang Han-soo said. Lenovo replied, Yeah. Kang Han-soo pushed open the doors to the residence. A maid was standing inside waiting. Kang Han-soo said, Looks like I made it just in time. The maid glared at them. Human race level 34. Profession maid. Skills charm C. Work D spirit E hysteria F. Status alert. Hidden deep within the royal hunting grounds lies the queen's luxurious residence. There is only one maid guarding the entrance. If anyone wonders why the queen only assigned one, the answer lies in the extraordinary strength of the maids in this world. Those with an S-rank level usually possess physical strength and health comparable to top-tier athletes on Earth. Furthermore, having signed a contract with a demon and receiving power through their worship, even a level 34 maid can move as nimbly as an actor in a Hong Kong action movie. Lenovo, looking embarrassed, said to the maid, I'm so sorry, the hero was just summoned to this world. So he's not familiar with where certain places are. We'll be leaving right away. She added anxiously, I think our coming here might have made her angry. Hearing that, the maid suddenly snapped her eyes glowing red and she lunged at them. Lenovo screamed in terror, I'm sorry, I get it now. Meanwhile, the hero stood there looking completely unbothered. The maid rushed at him, but he quickly used his hand to block her, slammed her head into the ground and said, Keep your voice down. Lenovo asked Kang Han-soo in shock if it was true that he was still only at level 1. The hero smiled and replied, No, I'm level 12 now. Lenovo panicked, Look over there, I've never seen anything like this. The maid had transformed into a purple demon. She continued, It seems this is the demon that made the contract. The hero nodded. Stop mumbling, just stick close to me. Don't ask any more questions. Lenovo choked out, Yes, I understand. As the level increases, the effectiveness of skills improves and combat power scales accordingly. Unlike previous times, this time I started with many high-tier skills. Combat power depends on the tier and the number of skills one possesses. So even at the same level, skills are the deciding factor. To understand how to calculate combat power, we do the math like this. Hero C rank level 1 interpretation skill. A. 9 plus level 1 times 10 plus 6. Skill tiers equals 160 as the total combat power. Maid level 1. Charm skill. C. Work skill. D. Demonic energy skill. E. Frenzy skill. F. 9 plus 34 times 10 plus 4 for C, 3 for D, 2 for E, plus 1 for F equals 860 total combat power. Finally, I reached level 12 with superior skills in many fields. 9 plus 12 times 10 plus 9 plus 8 and so on, repeating dozens of times. It feels like I'm playing the game using an administrator's account with a total combat power so high it defies imagination. The two of them approached a large door. Lenovo said solemnly, Traps are everywhere. Even the servants have signed contracts with demons. What on earth is happening inside the queen's mansion? Kang Han-soo decided to open the door and walk in. Immediately they encountered a man wearing a skull mask. He said coldly, Relax your mind and connect with him. Eternal life, eternal happiness. Please accept this offering and answer our prayers. Lenovo felt terrified witnessing the scene. I never expected to find a cult altar for demon worshippers inside. Kang Han-su, how did you know about this? Is this one of your abilities? I thought you told me to keep quiet, Lenovo said anxiously. Kang Han-su greeted the masked man. Hello. The man turned around with a puzzled look. Who are you? How did you get all the way down here? Han-su observed and realized that everyone below was human, but this guy was definitely different. A level 194 demon mage class high magic power, demonic energy skill, B magic, C. Magic power D transmutation, C. Preaching E and in a state of confusion. Exactly! The masked man roared angrily. Once you've stepped in here, don't even think about turning back. You should feel honored to become an offering to him. Han-su thought to himself, I have to admit this guy's disguise is very convincing. He replied sarcastically, Is that so? Are you trying to make me laugh? The B-rank demon knelt and bowed before Kang Han-su. Everyone around was extremely surprised as he begged, Please forgive this lowly servant. In demon society, the hierarchy is very strictly defined, so everyone must obey the orders of those with higher ranks. Just now, Kang Han-su used an SS rank demonic energy skill, and it seems it worked beyond expectations. Han-su spoke up, Hey B-rank, sorry for the interruption, but from now on I am taking over this place. Why wouldn't I be happy? He bowed his head repeatedly, his mouth not stopping. Happy sir, long live the demon. Lenovo hid fearfully behind Kang Han-su. Following his instructions, she called out softly, You just need to watch. Don't say anything. Kang Han-su replied with a confident smile. Han-su stepped forward, his voice booming. Listen up, you insects. Soon we will take over this kingdom. Let darkness rule everything. This will be the first step in making this kingdom mine. In the first adventure, Kang Han-su slashed down hard, and his voice rang out, This is the punishment you deserve. A wicked soul crawled out from the mouth of the one killed. It's that thing again. So he was also a demon worshipper. Lenovo worried, Could the entire kingdom already be in the hands of demons? Something is wrong, Kang Han-su said irritably. What the hell is this? I haven't even made my move yet, and this whole kingdom has already become their playground. The truth about the kingdom back then was truly unbelievable. Crime is everywhere, that's normal to me, but murder, robbery, smuggling, kidnapping. Which crimes are major, which are minor? They were all happening everywhere across the kingdom. The deeper you dig, the more the secrets are revealed. The demon worshippers had pushed the kingdom into such a tragic state. It was also thanks to the ignorant rule of the dim-witted king that the kingdom ended up in such a miserable condition. The king lazily propped his chin up and said, Demon worshippers, just clean them up. You're the hero, aren't you? Even though Kang Han-su didn't like his attitude, he eventually had to get off his butt and do the work. The den of the demon worshippers was overflowing with eerie demonic energy. Kang Han-su kicked the door open and shouted, The hero is here! Everyone stay still. Anyone who wants their head cracked open can ignore my words regardless of whether you move or not. They were all cult followers and he was going to kill everyone inside. Seeing the hero appear, they panicked. The leader wearing the demon mask roared in anger. Insolent fool! If you've run here, I'll make you regret it. The gates of hell have opened. Kneel before me. Your soul will also be burned to ash. And your life will end right here. Kang Han-su roared, Shut your mouth, you bastard! Do you know how much trouble I've had to go through because of you? The leader screamed, but before he could finish his sentence, he was stomped under Kang Han-su's feet, being crushed relentlessly. You devil, you must die. I was kidnapped and made to do slave labor for the whole kingdom. It's all your fault. It's all you. Kang Han-su roared, suppressing all his resentment. Die, you trashy insect! After slaughtering the B rank, he continued to destroy the entire queen's mansion. Die, D, he said with those actions. The cult of devil worshippers has been completely dealt with. With their leader gone, the entire organization beneath them fell apart and crumbled. After some thought, Kang realized that if this entire kingdom was controlled by these zealots who only listened to their leader, he just had to kick the guy at the top out and take his place. Just like that, the loyal followers knelt in unison thanking him for accepting their lowly selves. Kang Han-su wore a wicked smile, having barely had to lift a finger. This whole kingdom will be in my hands, he declared. La-nu, seeing the look on his face, couldn't help but shudder. Hero, the atmosphere around you is getting pretty creepy. A hand shot up. Don't worry about a thing. Leave it all to me. Everyone please believe in me because Hero Sig will resolve everything. Kang Han-su looked at Sig with utter disgust. The feeling that the future was growing more and more clouded hit him hard. After observing for a while, Kang Han-su felt sick at Sig's obsession with helping others for free. It was as if he wanted to boost his reputation just like he did the first time around. If that was truly the only way then for this third run, with everything he now had in his hands, Kang Han-su smirked. I'll resolve everything thoroughly. That way that idiot know. His Majesty can finally rest in peace. When the Emperor asked, High Priest, what brings you to see me? The High Priest knelt down. Your Majesty, I came to speak with you regarding the hero Kang Han-su. The Emperor frowned in confusion. Hero Kang... What about him? From the very beginning, I found him quite peculiar. His rituals were perfect, yet I still felt something was off. The High Priest asserted, He is certainly not part of the cult, Your Majesty. Just recently, hero Kang Han-su discovered a group of cultists deceiving and harming innocent people. He punished them exactly as they deserved, and all the wealth and treasures those cultists had hoarded have also been distributed to the people by him. Only a few days after being summoned, hero Kang Han-su has already been praised to the heavens by the populace. But hero Sig has yet to accomplish anything, wasting his time doing useless things. In my opinion, only hero Kang Han-su possesses the qualities to save this kingdom and the fantasy world. The Empress whispered softly into the Emperor's ear. Surely you must be surprised by what he has shown, right? The Emperor asked, caught off guard. So you think so too, Empress? Yes, but there is one thing: if he keeps so generously helping the people financially like this, wouldn't there come a time when he ends up with nothing? Think about it. Perhaps you should support Hero Kang with expenses that would be better. The Emperor resisted. Why should I? But a sudden tremor interrupted his words. An eerie light flashed in the Empress's eyes as she continued to whisper, I hope you will consider this carefully and help Hero. Kang Han-su. If the Demon King is defeated, the status of the king who summoned the hero will rise high in the eyes of the people. Hypnotized by the Empress's words, the Emperor nodded and replied, You're right. I'll hand it over. This is the key to the royal treasury. Give it to Hero Kang, and whenever he needs it, he can take money from there to use. The Empress took it without a second's delay. Thank you, Your Majesty. A pile of shiny gold coins clinked together, ringing out with a happy sound. Aigu, seriously. It's not like I wanted to receive this pile of gold. Kang Han-su lay on his side, propped up on his seat full of gold. But since His Majesty has said so, I can't refuse. Unlike the last time, this time, the king didn't seem annoyed at all while handing over the money. This way it wouldn't count as me forcing the old man, and my morality points would be preserved. Kang Han-su flicked a gold coin with amusement. Besides, this was money the king voluntarily donated. I can consider it as not demanding anything while still helping everyone for free. After being boosted by the devil's energy, the Empress had become a servant under him. The two others looked at Kang Han-su with reverent eyes. The Master and the High Priest, too, these were all useful people in his plan. The High Priest spoke up. My lord, as long as you wish it, we can provide you with anything. For the sake of the growth of our faith, I can do anything. Kang Han-su commanded, High Priest, first of all, tell me where the church's revenue comes from. The High Priest replied, yes, and explained, below is an easy-to-understand summary for you, my lord. Most of the money we earn comes from drug trafficking, money laundering, kidnapping, theft, smuggling, usury fraud, and much more. Kang Han-su sighed. That's 99% dirty money, then. If I touch that, my morality points will plummet like a rock. If the professor and those other guys find out, then no matter what, I won't be able to graduate and won't be able to leave this godforsaken place. Just you wait. Kang Han-su shouted, Hero Kang Han-su, Hero Kang Han-su. Soldiers ran up in a hurry. You're here, Kang Han-su, don't panic. Is something the matter? The soldier replied breathlessly, Please listen to me. Hero Sig has run away. A soldier came rushing in with the news. Kang Han-su frowned and asked, Can you explain that more clearly? He quickly headed with the soldiers toward the crowd where a commotion could be heard. Voices of people trying to reason echoed, Hero Sig, please calm down. Denying it is useless. I saw everything, Sig announced heroically. It is clear that this pig tried to pull this girl away by force. The soldiers were confused. One of them spoke up. But didn't that girl say that everything happened of her own free will? Sig insisted no. He definitely used something to force her to say that. You're plotting something evil against that innocent girl. Am I wrong, you pig? The soldiers tried to mediate as the hero Sai shouted, Watch your tongue! The insulted man retorted angrily, What did I ever do to deserve such humiliation? The girl sadly clutched the man's arm and whispered, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. The argument between the two sides intensified as Sai yelled, You fat pig, let her go! Everyone was baying for blood. Stay calm, everyone. Don't listen to that idiot hero. Kang Han-su covered his ears, thinking, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this situation now. The man being insulted by Sai felt familiar. "I've seen him before," Kang Han-soo recalled. At the basement ceremony in the Empress's mansion, there was a man named Baron. Human race. Noble profession lineage. E rank. Elegance. But D rank business skills. E rank politeness. E rank dining. E rank elegance and F rank demonic energy. His current state obese and enraged. His humiliation and demonic energy were both at the F rank level. Kang Han-soo pondered the first time he saw Baron in a kingdom ruled by a foolish king. The Baron family territory relied on fertile land and a dense population, so this place had never had to worry about food shortages. But this became a double-edged sword leading to the Marquise's situation at the time due to stress. Forced to attend classes to become the heir. The only way he could find relief was through food. Of course, as mentioned, since he never had to worry about food, he could eat day and night whenever he wanted. The result? When Marquis Baron finally realized something was wrong, he gasped for air. "Why does my body feel so heavy lately?" In reality, he had developed a host of illnesses like diabetes, high cholesterol, kidney stones, and various cancers. High-level healing magic isn't something everyone knows about, and now he only had one choice left. Choosing another path, the leader of a demonic sect appeared before him and urged, "Worship me, and you will receive a body with eternal health and power, Marquis." Baron, with his foolish and pathetic soul, submitted. "Yes," he replied. The leader continued, "Follow me, worship me forever. Do you dare?" Baron affirmed, "Yes, I swear. Eternal power, eternal authority. My God, I will be loyal to you forever." To restore his health, Baron became a worshipper of the devil. And then, due to the influence of the demonic energy in his body, he began a life of cruelty. Even though he was eventually defeated by a hero that didn't stop him from committing evil acts. Kang Han-soo folded his arms and realized, "Sai, what are you doing here?" "Please file a report, Han-soo. You see, I just caught this fat pig. Forcing that innocent girl to come with him." Baron seethed. "How dare you call me that?" Sai, acting aggressive, said, "There's no way I can just stand by and watch that pig do that." The girl tried to explain. No, it's not like that." Kang Han-soo suddenly realized, they're all acquaintances. In 2 years, Baron will marry this girl, the victim. She used to be one of the victims he seduced into becoming a follower, but in the end, the two fell in love. "At the moment, I don't really need to worry about that," Kang Han-soo said, then turned to Sai. "So do you have any proof?" Sai was stunned. "You're a hero too, aren't you? Can't you see his skill is demonic energy?" Kang Han-soo scratched his cheek. "Is he trying to say that on purpose? Are you trying to annoy me because I have SS rank demonic energy, Sai? Even if he has demonic energy, you can't be sure he's a devil worshipper. Eating a devil's heart can also grant demonic energy. There are many ways to get it. It's not just because they worship the devil. Even so, demonic energy isn't a good thing. If someone has demonic energy and isn't being manipulated, they will automatically transform into low-level devils, revealing the ugliest parts of their soul. But Han-soo, that pig, is definitely a devil worshipper." Sai was still adamant. Kang Han-soo felt annoyed inside. "You only know how to talk like a child. If you're so sure about it, then why don't you just jump in and take care of him yourself?" The surrounding crowd couldn't hold back their anger, slamming the Marquis and calling it ridiculous to frame him as a devil worshipper, even calling him a pig. "He's a regular at our shop, you know. Is this really the legendary hero? Ha, all bark and no bite." Someone in the crowd mocked him. "Hey, can you show us those dragons you supposedly caught?" Poor Marquis. Seeing the crowd's harsh criticism, the girl standing nearby stepped in firmly. "Please, hero, this is all just a big misunderstanding. My family owes him a debt of gratitude. My father tripped and spilled food all over the Marquis, but instead of getting angry, he took my father to the infirmary for treatment. And he covered every penny of the medical bills afterward. I'm the one who chased after him all this way. I never imagined I'd be the cause of him ending up in a situation like this." The girl sobbed into her hands. A soldier patted her shoulder. "Siegfried, do you have anything to say for yourself? If not, then we're leaving." Sieg was confused. Me. He was dragged away by the soldiers. They added that the apology to the Marquis would be handled later and warned him not to cause any more trouble. Kang Han-soo remarked to himself that the Marquis really did have an excellent reputation. He comforted the girl. There, it's all right now." The girl was still crying into her hands, but Kang Han-soo realized that it was only a matter of time before she was consumed by the devil's energy. Kang Han-soo didn't really care about that. Whatever happens, happens. I really don't want to drag this out until I have to stab that guy a second time. Meanwhile, as Shin was being dragged away, he kept screaming, "I'm not wrong. He really is a devil worshipper." Kang Han-soo watched him go, wondering if that brat is really the key to my graduation. At the church, someone bowed and said, Master, here is the report on what Hero C has been up to this past week. It seems he's been traveling all over the kingdom looking for quests to complete. Kang Hansu commented, that guy sure gets motivated quickly. Even though it was a bit forced, he helped out everywhere, like finding a lost cat for a child. C found it on a roof. He exclaimed happily, there you are. Kang Hansu looked at the scene with contempt. Ha, looks peaceful, doesn't it? That's only because this kingdom is currently so quiet, there's absolutely no trouble. It's all thanks to the minions under my command that every problem in the kingdom has been solved so neatly. The people's friendly neighborhood hero has arrived. Kang Hansu thought smugly about his devil-worshipping squad. Besides, they still had one more thing to do. Everyone whispered to each other, did you hear the hero Kang Hansu is just amazing? Why do you care how amazing he is? Just knowing that is enough. He thought to himself, okay, that's how I'll build my reputation in the eyes of the people little by little. Another story was spreading as well. I heard the princes are involved with the loan sharks. Does the king know? Could it be that he isn't doing anything about it? Kang Hansu calculated just like this. Everything will go smoothly, and my virtue points won't be affected. The queen spoke up. Just as you predicted, Master, a group of elves did indeed attack the black market yesterday. Master, your ability to predict the future is truly remarkable. Kang Hansu asked, so what happened? The queen replied, almost all of them were killed, but in the end, the female elf leading the group was captured. If we take over that auction area, and we can generate much more revenue later. Kang Hansu thought, so the future elf queen Sylvia has been removed from the game. Her future is probably going to be very miserable. But I don't care. As long as it doesn't involve me, the professor won't have anything to say. Anything else, Alex, the future Sword King? Kang Hansu remembered that idiot. Sigh, and that useless guy, he had already killed them twice. But this time, to avoid any mistakes, he found a way to use Alex properly. The professor said happily, finally has student Kang started to see the good in those around him. Kang Hansu replied, of course, Professor. Haven't you heard that even dog feces can be used in medical applications? A booming voice echoed, ha ha, heroes, welcome to the Royal Training Grounds. Today is the hero debut, but it's not like the last one. Because this time, aside from me, there is someone else here. After I took power, my group of followers implemented several organizational reforms and finally things in the kingdom have stabilized. Currently, Alex had returned to the capital from the front lines. Alex said with great excitement, you rookie heroes must have been waiting for this day for a long time, right? Me too. Delaying the debut until today made me a bit disappointed too. Heroes, welcome to the Royal Training Grounds. With skin without a single scratch, Alex clearly hadn't been taught a lesson properly yet, but don't worry because I, the strongest swordsman in the kingdom, he will help you become incredibly powerful heroes, and it won't take long at all. Kang Hansu gave him the nickname, the passionate useless guy. C replied with determination, yes, I will try my best, Sir Alex. Kang Hansu looked at the passionate useless guy and replied dryly, me too. Alex continued, and today our debut will be attended by the Queen. The Queen spoke, it is my honor to observe these great heroes in training. He exclaimed in astonishment, wow. The Queen rested her chin on her hand for a moment and said, summoning two heroes is truly an invaluable gift to the kingdom. However, I am still curious about one thing. Between the two heroes summoned to defeat the Demon King, who will be the stronger one? Sir exclaimed in confusion. Huh? Kang Hansu replied, if the Queen wishes to know, I am more than happy to oblige. Sir was startled. Wait, the Queen is suggesting this, Alex. Could the training wait until later? Because I really want to see a sparring match between the two heroes. Alex replied, of course, Your Majesty. Come on, heroes, give it your all. He added with a fierce, cruel grin, I will not tolerate any cowardly behavior, like surrendering or running away in front of the Queen. Sir hesitated. Hey, Hansu, we're friends, aren't we? Kang Hansu didn't even look at him and replied, honestly, I don't want to fight my friend either, but there's no other way. Sir couldn't believe it. Kang Hansu threw his coat on the ground and said, come at me. The Queen herself said she wanted to see our match. Besides, isn't it your ideal to always proactively meet the requests of those around you? Isn't that what you've always wanted? Or are all those hero evaluation criteria just total nonsense? Kang Hansu thought listening to everyone's requests and carrying them out, that is the duty of a hero. Solving problems, fulfilling every request without asking for anything in return. Doesn't this mean I'm currently fulfilling a request from the beautiful Queen for free? Sir clenched his fists. Hansu, I'm coming at you. Kang Hansu parted his lips slightly. This is going to hurt a bit. Sir lunged forward, gritting his teeth, putting all his strength into his fist. Kang Hansu appeared before him like a demon delivering a brutal knee strike straight into Sir's stomach. Kang Hansu wore an evil grin. "Sir, what are you doing? No need to hold back, just give it everything you've got." But in his head, he thought, "It's hard to hide the pain on your face while trying to act like you're okay. Right?" Sir was in so much pain he was foaming at the mouth. "Gah! Gah!" The soldiers watching couldn't help but be breathless. 1212 Kang Hansu's cheerful rhythm counting filled the air. He intentionally said loudly, "Sir, I told you not to hold back. Don't just defend like that, try a counterattack for once." A true hero fulfills everyone's requests for free without asking for a thing. He was always eager to take on any task. "Leave it to me," because that's what a hero is supposed to do. "Don't worry about a thing, Hansu. I will definitely protect you," Sir thought. "I'm learning from him, aren't I? If I had known it was this easy, I should have done this sooner." Sir was trembling from the beating. Kang Hansu looked at him with feigned concern. "When are you going to stop holding back and actually fight for real?" "Really? To be more precise, I'm the one holding back here. If I went all out, he'd definitely be dead from the very first strike. But if I did that, my reputation and character points would all be gone." Hero. Sir collapsed onto the field. Everyone frantically shouted, "Healers, get over here quickly and check on him!" Oh my God. Kang Hansu watched Sir being surrounded by healers. It's nothing. With those kinds of wounds, a simple recovery spell is all it takes. But it will take a little while to get back to his original state. Alex loomed up from behind and said, "Hey, hero, can you tell the difference between a sparring match and an actual battle?" Kang Hansu glanced over at him. Alex laughed furiously. "It seems you have a dirty habit of picking on the weak. In that case, let me show you what a truly strong person looks like." Kang Hansu was annoyed. A habit of picking on the weak. Does this bastard have no shame? Whatever. Anyway, after this sparring match, it's going to be Sir Alex's hero torture session. Alex cracked his knuckles and laughed. "That last move looks like you know a thing or two about fancy footwork, but don't get ahead of yourself. No matter how much you dance around, it won't work on someone stronger." He continued. "Human race level 291. Class swordsman. Stamina S. Swordsmanship S. Stamina, a iron wall B, status resistance B, perseverance C." With an amused state, Kang Hansu noticed that Alex's stat board didn't look much different from the first time. Having those kinds of levels during peacetime is considered quite high. However, compared to what I've been through, this is nothing. Alex shoved his face forward. "What's so funny? Do you think just having that is enough to face a truly strong opponent?" He swung his fist. "In that case, let me broaden your horizons." A direct punch slammed into Kang Hansu, but he remained completely unfazed and asked back, "How was that?" Disappointed. And just like that, today's hero debut turned into a training session for Alex. Compared to the first time, this round was much more fun after what happened that day. "I'm no longer being called by Alex to train, but after a period of leisure, the kingdom has run into a problem I can't just ignore." "It's way too hot," Lenovo complained. "Hero, I don't like this year's summer one bit. The scorching weather is causing the kingdom's water supply to dry up," Kang Hansu replied. I know, and because of the water shortage, food supplies are suffering too. It's a pretty big deal, isn't it? I'm well aware of all that, that's why I'm figuring out a solution now," Lenovo said, looking at the group of followers standing nearby. But who are these people? Kang Hansu lay sideways on his golden chair. "Lenovo, why don't you try getting used to this? These lackeys will be very useful in maintaining the bond between the hero and the people of this world." He thought for a moment. A food crisis caused by water shortage, huh? If we did something to cut down the population, wouldn't everything solve itself? Lenovo was speechless at the hero who was at the training grounds. Sid was panting, drenched in sweat as he stood up. "Or do you want to take a cane to the rear before you'll get up? If you want revenge, resting is too much of a luxury," Alex shouted while leaning on his crutch. "Sid, you absolutely cannot give up. I know you can do it. Suppress your fear and prepare yourself mentally to be on the verge of death at all times. Because since there's a healer here, even if you wanted to die, you wouldn't be able to." But right after that, he knelt on the ground and vomited. Alex gritted his teeth, thinking, "I must take revenge and kill Kang Hansu." Sid nodded, "Yes." Alex pointed out, "Your hips are still too exposed. If you keep this up, when will you ever be able to get revenge on that guy? When will the scar in your heart finally be erased? Think about it. Defeated so shamefully in front of everyone, do you really accept that? Beaten like a dog, does the honor you've worked so hard to build even remain? Hero Sid is supposed to be the one to defeat the Demon King, but will anyone believe in a hero who doesn't even have his dignity left?" The two lunged into a new training round with Sid getting beaten up again. "Still exposed on the hips?" Sid screamed. "Alex, I'll kill you!" Alex shouted back. Remember this? If you lose your cool in a battle, the only path is death. The sound of Sid's groans echoed, ah. The chaotic sounds drifted into Kang Hansu's ears. Have you given up on your revenge? He thought, sitting on the windowsill, using his super hearing ability to listen to everything from a great distance from dawn until sunset. It seemed Alex hadn't forgotten that incident. After the hero debut, Alex's personality had completely changed. One man with a crutch, one man bruised and battered. Even though Sid tried to escape the training sessions countless times, Alex still tried to find and drag him back to continue training. Even when insulted many times by Sid, he didn't use that as an excuse to abuse him. He even listened to every complaint and offered useful advice. Everything was completely different from what I experienced the first time. Sid was so frustrated he was on the verge of tears, standing up quietly trying to suppress his emotions. He's someone who always took requests from everyone around him. After gradually getting used to Alex's enthusiastic training, began to show clear growth. Human race level 3. Occupation hero. XP increased 500%. Skills. Interpretation. A survival. B. Swordsmanship. C. Perception. C. Physical strength. C. Status. Stunned bleeding. Frenzied scratched. Kang Hansu marveled to himself. Oh my, that's impressive. If things keep going at this rate, then in just 3 years, he could kill the Demon King. Last time it took me 15. Truly as expected of a chosen candidate. I thought he would have to fend for himself after being thrown into a strange world, like I did. Just then, the professor appeared. Student Kang, what is going on here? Kang Hansu greeted her. Professor, long time no see. You can see I'm observing his training, can't you? The professor raised her voice. This is not normal at all. Pouring cold water into a boiling pot won't make it stop being hot. The key here is the fire being used to heat it, more than any other chosen hero candidate. He is currently in a growth phase. If he develops too quickly... Kang Hansu was agitated. Not normal. Then should I go down there and snap his neck right now? I think that even without him, I'm more than capable of graduating. The professor stopped him. Wait, will you let me finish my sentence? I was a bit mistaken just now. Actually, the chosen candidate is currently facing some difficulties. Kang Hansu realized, that's right. He's being put through the ringer by that guy Alex. He said excitedly, if that's the case, should I go kill Alex? The professor was speechless. Can you not think of anything other than killing... I think his state is due to fatigue piling up over this past period. Perhaps it's also partly because of the hot weather. Kang Hansu said bluntly. So, to sum up, I kill Alex and ignore Sid, then he won't be tired anymore, right? The professor replied anxiously. So even you, Kang, are clearly being affected by the heat, too. When people are exhausted, they tend to think more negatively. Isn't it because you haven't been able to get any rest lately? Kang Hansu frowned. Rest. I have never thought about such a thing. It's not simply about sitting in one place and giving orders. In reality, I have to evaluate dozens of issues and decide whether or not to carry them out. That has made me extremely exhausted. The followers under my command, those with various ranks, they are also contributing to running this kingdom and solving countless problems. Things that foolish king would never be able to do. You continue to speak plainly. What I am doing is the duty of a king. I'm just so tired. I have had to personally carry out tasks that the useless king couldn't do without any reward. The dignity of a great person, someone capable of bearing the weight of the crown, is right here, isn't it? The professor suggested it. What do you think? If you and your partner go on a vacation together, even though there is a severe drought, fantasy is not without places to relax. Isn't there still the magic tower? With it, you can go anywhere you want. You could meet the gentle water dragons in the mysterious northern seas or visit the floating islands in the sky. And going to the Mermaid Lake wouldn't be a bad idea either. Didn't you go there the first time too, right? Even though everywhere is currently suffering from the drought, that place always maintains an incredibly beautiful landscape. A thought popped into Kang Hansu's head. Mermaid Lake. Right, of course. The professor asked, have you made your decision? He replied, thank you, Professor. Kang Hansu smiled slyly. I'm going to go prepare my gear right now. The professor felt something wasn't quite right. Why did he settle on a location so quickly? Student Kang Hansu. The kingdom is suffering from a drought that has led many families to starvation, but it's not like there's no way to get water, is there, please? Surprised, this is a lake. At first glance, I thought it was the ocean. Kang Hansu thought, moreover, this whole place is full of fresh water. Perhaps this is enough to help the people get through this drought. However, he knew the real problem lay with the wicked mermen living here. They want to monopolize all the water in the lake, ignoring the fact that others are starving out there. Defeating the mermen, saving innocent citizens from the drought so they don't have to suffer from hunger, isn't this an extremely important mission that a hero like us must carry out? Kang Hansu calculated, I can level up and I get to enjoy the scenery too. Heh, whatever, I have to admit that I'm a genius. Sai curiously asked Hansu, is there a mermaid princess here? There is. Kang Hansu's answer made C exclaim, wow! His curiosity and excitement level shot up. You continued, but why did you bring so many soldiers here? Kang Hansu replied, I didn't intend to come to this place, and with just a small group of elite soldiers or anything like that. We have fully equipped royal knights along with combat mages. We have 30,000 people in total. We didn't come here to babble about nonsense like a disadvantageous negotiation like the first time. We are all equals, and this is a survival competition. He listed 3 commanders at level 200, 100 mages, at level 150, 200 knights, at level 180, 100 regular soldiers, at level 130, 100 reserves, at level 110,000 elite soldiers, at level 120. 10,000 conscripts at level 3. A soldier spoke up. I'm so hungry, sir. If we join the army, will we have food? Kang Hansu assessed the situation for a kingdom located right next to the Demon King's territory. The military strength was only at an average level like this. He exhaled heavily. Because he was the head of the kingdom, the one bearing the crown in the shadows, he was tied down to this issue. Ah, my shoulders feel so heavy. Now he had to find a way to win, preserve his graduation chances, and help the people get through this drought all at once. Not to mention he still had to train the soldiers to defend against the Demon King attacking the kingdom of that foolish dumpling-faced king. Every time he caused trouble, he made excuses that it was the Demon King who caused the kingdom to fall into this state. Even though this might be unfair to the Demon King for the piece of fantasy, no one protested it. Part of it was because the neighboring kingdoms also didn't want territorial conflicts with the kingdom of that foolish king, because in the end, this place was the shield that the Demon King would attack first. Kang Hansu rubbed his chin deep in thought. And also because of the lack of conflict, these soldiers were completely weak and had no combat experience whatsoever. C was surprised. You know so much. Kang Hansu smiled wickedly, concluding, if we fight the mermen, won't I not only solve the problem of water shortages, but also train these soldiers to gain combat experience? The horseman spoke up. Hero, we must start immediately. Kang Hansu looked at him and replied, Lord Count. The Count suggested, currently the soldiers are in a weakened state due to a lack of drinking water and food, so we must proceed as quickly as possible. He, a commander with seasoned experience on the battlefield with the general class, clearly understood the current situation. The number of soldiers would increase leadership ability. Their martial arts and leadership skills, however, weren't enough to face the challenges ahead. Kang Hansu has made up his mind. So we'll start by building a dam to stop the river water from flowing into the lake. It's the only way. That's the only way to force the merfolk out of their hiding spots. He thought of the Count, a man with combat experience, and one of the few not bound by demonic energy. Once those fish people, if we can strip them of their underwater advantage, then no matter how exhausted our troops are, we aren't necessarily going to lose, Kang Hansu thought confidently. There were 3 rivers flowing into the lake, and all of them were within the kingdom's territory. No need to negotiate with the Holy Empire at all. Just block them all off just like that. The Count was apprehensive. That's a clever plan, but coming from a hero, it doesn't quite fit the usual style. Kang Hansu reminded him to remember one thing. I am only doing this for the sake of our kingdom, he stated firmly. For this campaign, I've only chosen commanders who haven't fallen for the temptations of demons. The Queen, the High Priest, and that B-rank demon will remain in the kingdom to bring the remaining elements into the church. Thinking about how the Count would react when he learns his entire family has become followers of the devil Kang Hansu, couldn't help but find it amusing. Now let's get down to the negotiations. Wow, Lenovo said, excited. Negotiations. Lenovo the Devout. You really are a hero after all. You've always wanted to solve everything peacefully, right? Kang Hansu glanced at her. What is this? Why are you acting like a war is about to break out? Lenovo answered, agitated. It's just, I thought you were planning to wage war against the merfolk. Kang Hansu smiled mysteriously. Looks like you still don't quite understand me. A peace-loving person like me? Why would I ever think of doing something like that? Lenovo called out, Hero! Inside, Kang Hansu thought silently. Because I'll find their weakness and crush them so thoroughly that they won't be able to resist. And after that, I'll just demand they follow orders. Done. That way I've solved the problem easily and peacefully. A soldier asked cautiously. Commander, what do you think about this? The Count asked back, about what? The soldier continued, isn't interfering with the merfolk taboo, even though we had to cooperate with the hero after the Demon King awakened? The Count cut him off. So we will attack the merfolk if the hero says so. Besides, you're not the only one dissatisfied with the hero's actions. But since His Majesty has placed all his faith in him, there's no other choice. Meanwhile, the civilians drafted into military service whispered among themselves. I only joined the army because the harvest was ruined. Even then, we barely get anything to eat. Most of it is just marching. I heard they're about to build a water dam or something. If his plan succeeds, then a lot of people will be saved. The Count pointed into the distance. Look over there. The soldier was startled. That's the Holy Empire's army. They came to watch us. If we fail, they will definitely take action. Whether you trust the hero or not doesn't matter anymore because this has turned into a game of survival. A game not just between humans and merfolk, but between humans and humans. The shouts echoed. Hurry up, you lazy bastards, even if you get into an accident or get injured. We have healers right here, so give it everything you've got. Within 1 week, we must seal off this river. Lanuvo asked worriedly. You're really not going to fight the merfolk, right? Kang Hansu replied. That depends on how they answer. Lanuvo tried to persuade him. But the previous hero had a very close relationship with the merfolk. The love between that hero and the mermaid girl. Isn't that story romantic? Kang Hansu replied blandly. I suppose so. He didn't tell her. Yeah, it's romantic, all right. But that's only if you don't know the truth behind it, Lanuvo. 100 years ago, there was a hero who set foot in this place. Entranced by the singing, he followed the sound and discovered a mermaid sitting on a rock by the lake. She was the queen of the merfolk, and the ruler of this place. The next day, they became lovers, but in the end, the queen couldn't leave the lake to return to him quickly. The hero set out to defeat the Demon King, but ended up losing to him. In the end, he never returned, and ever since then, every year on the anniversary of that hero's death, people can still hear a mournful song rising up from this very place. And this town was named Pika Town. Lanuvo asked in surprise, Hero, shouldn't you be the one telling stories about the past? Kang Hansu thought to himself, to lose to a Demon King who got downgraded when facing a hero, just how much of an idiot was that guy? He looked around even though this was a mermaid town. But I don't see any mermaids, though. Kang Hansu sneered. Do you really think a town built by humans would just have mermaids walking all over the streets? Sai asked skeptically. So was it just my imagination, or are we really surrounded by nothing but men? Kang Hansu explained. That's because the mermaid race doesn't have any men at all. Sai asked, Wait, I don't get it. Kang Hansu opened the tavern door and walked in, and the people he saw inside. They were just harboring hopes of becoming the husbands of the mermaid girls. Sai realized, oh, a pleasant sound rang out, Welcome, as a mug of beer was set on the table. Are you two adventurers just passing through this lake? The mermaid's ears twitched slightly. It's peak hours right now. She was an energetic girl, and more importantly, the area around the lake shore had been completely occupied by soldiers. Aren't you two worried at all? It's been a while, hasn't it? The owner of this inn was the daughter of the mermaid queen and was also the second most powerful mermaid in the tribe. And one of my teammates from the first time, Aqua. The old sailor looked through his binoculars and said, They're starting to split their troops. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't look like they're preparing for diplomacy. I really can't understand what their goal is. Holy Maiden, what do you think about this? Could it be that they are plotting to attack our holy kingdom? The Holy Maiden replied with an annoyed expression, Honestly, I can't predict anything yet. Perhaps we should consider every possibility that might happen. Just then a soldier ran in flustered. Commander, we just received a secret report from a spy. The old sailor said calmly, I just hope it's good news. He held the note, read it, and laughed loudly. The soldier called, Commander. The old sailor frowned, took the secret note, and said, I think the Holy Maiden needs to see this too. The Holy Maiden's eyes widened as she looked on, saying worriedly, I hope this unexpected situation doesn't lead to a crisis beyond our control. Passing by the mermaid lake, a girl looked toward Hansu and said, Don't tell me you two are planning to go to the lake? To go sightseeing at a sensitive time like this? Hansu smiled foolishly. Not at all. The mermaid girl with shimmering eyes replied, Then you must be targeting us mermaid girls, right? Hansu laughed goofily. Exactly, and the lake too. The mermaid girl named Aqua grabbed a broom and a sword ready to strike Hansu. Aqua, the mermaid princess, was the owner of this inn, and she was also the protector of the mermaid lake. Unlike Alex, an idiot who only wanted to focus on power, Aqua was someone who didn't just favor strength, but also speed. Hansu thought to himself, what a tough target. Don't look down on that mop. In reality, it's made of metal, and that's a type of metal not every hero can even lift. Furthermore, those bare feet of hers make her the only one of her kind in the tribe. The hero who came to the Mermaid Lake 100 years ago was Tendon. He couldn't defeat the Demon King, but before he died, he managed to leave two things behind in this fantasia. Lenovo said anxiously, "Can you two please calm down? Can't we solve this peacefully? The beautiful love story that archaeologists and bards love so much, and then this walking piece of sashimi." The mermaid girl said with a fierce expression, "The more I look at you, the more uncomfortable I feel. My father, the previous hero, was a virtuous man, and I never would have expected that a thug of a hero like you actually exists in this world." The mermaid girl spoke with an angry voice. Hansu chuckled. "So you know I'm a hero too." "Of course," the girl replied. "Do you think we've lived this long relying only on news about our own tribe?" Hansu's expression became tense as he said, "Then you must also know about the problem. My kingdom is currently facing right. While your selfish race is hoarding the water supply, my people are on the brink between life and death due to the drought. What I am striving to do right now is to save those people. Isn't that enough of a reason for me to be a better hero?" The mermaid girl squinted sarcastically. "Some idiot who let himself lose at the hands of the Demon King, right? Isn't that right?" Just then, Hansu accidentally splashed a blue substance onto the girl. She smelled it and shouted in anger, "You are definitely going to die in pieces with rage." The mermaid girl grabbed her mop and struck Hansu repeatedly, screaming, "Die, you fish monster!" Hansu was annoyed, feeling helpless as he faced her wrath. Looking at the poison falling onto the floor, Hansu thought to himself, "What kind of mermaid princess is this? No matter how you look at it, she just looks like a girl with a slightly weird shape. What's the matter? Who would have thought that such a dainty little mouth could spit out poison?" System message: mermaid race, level 318, hero class. Experience points increased by 200%. Skills: spear mastery, heat, resistance, acceleration, all-rounder. C status: furious, but since she has the hero's blood in her veins, it's only natural that she's stronger than me, Hansu thought. Even so, her moves and skills, I've already memorized them all since the first time. Turns out you're not the only one who can mix poison into your saliva, Hansu said with a smirk, then suddenly kissed the mermaid girl. The force of the kiss knocked her to the ground. "She's dead." Lenovo screamed in fear. "No, she's just dying," Hansu replied coldly. "There's no way I'd kill the precious daughter of the Mermaid Queen. As long as her heart is still beating peace, negotiations will be much easier. But more importantly, to defeat the Demon King without any trouble, my level, the lower it is, the better." System message: Demon race level 999 plus. Demon King class. Hero level reduced. Skills: demonic, aura, 555. Status: immunity, 500. Sword mastery. Screams echoed out. "Aqua, this is bad. We just got word that the hero is planning to attack the Mermaid Kingdom. If you don't prepare now..." Aqua stood dazed, her mind only spinning with images of Hansu. Meanwhile, Hansu carried the mermaid girl on his back and ran into Shin, who said with a surprised look, "It's the Saint! The Saint in the flesh! What on earth is going on here?" The Saint asked with a worried expression, patting Hansu on the shoulder. Hansu pretended, "Oh no, the hero just escaped through the back door." "Wait a minute, I'm not blind. I know who the hero is." Legend says that the first time he saw the sword, he was mesmerized. Let me introduce myself. I'm a high school student who was kidnapped to another world to become a hero and save it. Instead of holding a phone and a keyboard here, I can only hold a sword to survive in this harsh world. If you're not the strong one, then congratulations, you don't even have the right to choose how you die. Once a normal citizen in the modern world, now I have to struggle to survive in this savage world. It's not too late yet. There's still a chance to save it. There's still a glimmer of hope for the weak people out there. I will definitely be able to revive them. Of course, no one wants to die when fighting. If you're lightly injured, you can treat yourself, but what if it's serious or fatal? The Saint, literally, is a lucky charm in the eyes of warriors and a descending angel. Looking at the mermaid lake, Hansu looked annoyed while the brown-clad boy laughed gleefully. Lenovo seemed sad. The Saint healed the mermaid girl with a worried look. "This is truly absurd. How can I stay calm when I have to witness a righteous hero laying hands on the mermaid princess like that?" "Nobody expected this," Lenovo said with a fearful face. "I told you it wasn't me." Hansu smirked foolishly, just because of the tiny bit of poison she swallowed. Almost all of her internal organs were corroded. Honestly, leveling up in this situation doesn't make me feel comfortable at all. The mermaid girl woke up and yelled. The Saint rejoiced. "All right." The mermaid girl glared at Hansu and growled. You! The Saint advised the mermaid girl. "Aqua, don't try to do anything. You were just revived, so you're still weak. Besides, your level dropped too, you know. The mermaid girl asked weakly. Dropped by how much? The saint thought to herself. Revival is powerful, but I wonder if it works on someone who's been sliced into tiny pieces. Then she replied, 10 levels. The mermaid girl cursed. That damn hero. Of course, healing someone who is dying or reviving the dead cannot be done carelessly. The saint checked Aqua's forehead and said gently, Aqua, what you need to do now is rest. Leave everything else for later. Aqua said weakly, Okay. In this world, killing can help a character raise their level, but for healers without combat abilities, leveling up becomes a challenge. System message. Human race level 128. Saint class. Skills faith, 550. Healing 500. Charisma 500. Virtue 500. Preaching. A. Status. Suspicious, uncomfortable. It's quite simple. Healers absorb experience points through healing wounds. In other words, they have to sacrifice their own experience points to heal others. The more serious the wound, the more experience points are lost. However, these points can be replenished through hunting. Our saint has reached the level she always hoped for. But what about the beginners at level 1? They have to rely on conventional healing methods, but if they insist on asking for the saint's help, they will have to suffer a loss in experience points. A voice called out, Saint. She replied softly, Yes. Shin, a young hero, felt shy, his face flushing red when he heard his name called. In his mind, an image of the saint appeared, making his heart beat fast. Beside that, a monster laughed loudly and said smugly, In this world, only the power of love can defeat me. Shin imagined himself hugging the saint and saving her from the monster, but the reality was harsh. He helplessly blurted out, He's too strong. In your voices, love has become the ultimate power. Facing your kind of power, I am but a fading shadow. The Demon King muttered, his eyes wide with astonishment. I cannot believe I could be defeated by you two lovers. It makes me so jealous. I curse you both to live happily together for eternity. Farewell to you all, Sai said with a cold look. Saintess, our adventure has come to an end. But the Saintess replied gently, Not quite, because the journey of our own lives is still continuing. Hero Sai, or should I say my husband? Sai laughed heartily, but Lenuvo, a friend of his, asked in confusion, Is it just me, or is Hero Sai acting a bit strange? Meanwhile, Hansu angrily blurted out, He's busy daydreaming about the Saintess. Sid was lost in his own whimsical thoughts, wondering, Which ring should I choose in this magical world? He hoped to find a beautiful diamond. Hansu thought to himself in frustration, This is the hero candidate the professor talked about. Do I really have to act like that idiot? Just to escape from this damn world. Hansu sighed, his heart heavy, wondering what sins he had committed in his past life to deserve this. The Saintess asked with a serious expression, Kang Hansu, can you explain why? Then you attacked Aqua. Hansu replied with a headache, for the sake of peace. The Saintess asked naively, So are you saying Aqua did something that threatened the peace? Hansu said irritably, No, it's to make her a hostage for peace. I'll use her to negotiate with the Mermaid Queen. Sai's eyes widened in shock and anger. Hansu, you're a hero. You can't do something like that. Using an innocent princess to threaten the Mermaid Queen. No matter how you look at it, there's nothing noble about that. Only the Demon King would do such things. Hansu sneered, If the hundreds of thousands of people who are dying out there, it could hear you, they'd be so happy, wouldn't they? Or should I go set up a stage right now and call everyone over to hear you say that? C stammered. This? Hansu continued. What's the matter? Too difficult to do. If that's the case, then shut your mouth. Stop sticking your nose in and talking like a complete moron. The Saintess said, looking troubled. Even though I know your kingdom is in danger, I just can't go along with this, because this affects the lives of so many other merfolk. Hansu replied coldly, It's not like they'll die if the lake loses a little bit of water, and shrinks just a tiny bit. Think of it as your house being renovated in some way, don't you think? Do you want those merfolk to sit in a spacious house and idly watch their neighbors starve to death? The Saintess countered with glistening eyes. But the issue that needs to be solved here is that negotiation. Hansu said coldly, Then why don't you go help me prepare for it? Block every river leading to the lake, and prepare another hostage that carries enough weight to influence the negotiation. The Saintess exclaimed helplessly, Is there really no other way? Hansu replied with a determined gaze, If you can find some kind of miracle that can make it rain, then who knows? Suddenly a weak voice echoed, There is one. Aqua stepped out, looking frail. The Saintess called out, Aqua. Aqua looked at them with tired eyes and said, I know a way to try a miracle to make it rain. A long time ago, there was no lake here at all. Instead, This used to be a city where only humans lived. One day the sky suddenly turned black, and to everyone's shock, endless rain poured down, drowning everything. And just like that thing succeeded in turning the city into its own home. Later, humans named it the guardian deity Ulu. To prevent the tragedy from repeating, the merfolk under the lake have had to guard it day and night, taking turns singing a special song to lull it to sleep. Hansu thought to himself, catfish. This is the first time I've heard of this. He turned to Lenovo and asked, do you know anything about this? Lenovo replied innocently, not at all, but I'm sure this is a research topic worth looking into, say princess. Can I ask you a few more questions? Aqua replied coldly, sure, go ahead and ask. Lenovo asked naively, according to legend, that monster only brings disaster, so why do people call it a guardian deity? Hansu sighed, that even I don't understand very well. Could it be that it can grant a wish? Aqua replied calmly, not at all. There is only one thing I know for sure, the guardian deity Ulu has the ability to create rain, whether there is a drought or not. Just one heavy rain could wash over everything and drown it all. However, to prevent catastrophe for the past 500 years, we have had to seal it at the bottom of the lake. All thanks to the natural singing talent of our merfolk. From generation to generation, we have taken turns singing lullabies to keep it from escaping and causing a great disaster. Our tribe has sacrificed so much to keep the peace in Fantasia, that is how it is. Then out of nowhere, some damn hero pops up and that naive saintess asks Aqua, haven't you already found a way to solve this? So everyone will finally be smiling, right? Aqua nods. I can personally guarantee that what she just said isn't a lie, Aqua says. Is it true that if Ulu disappears, the drought will be solved? Aqua, looking thoughtful, replies, that's right. It will definitely rain, but how much we can control it depends on the hero's skills. You heard that right, hero. To defeat the guardian god Ulu, the saintess says with a tense expression, if it can be done, it won't just end the drought. It will free the mermaid tribe from the chains that have bound them to that monster for hundreds of years. Hansu gets a headache thinking to himself, what is this? Sai, excited, says, exactly, the saintess is right. Isn't Ulu just a giant catfish? I can take it down with one swing. Hansu, fuming, thinks, not this guy again. Sai laughs. You can count on me. The saintess gently says, ah, yes. Hansu, frustrated and angry, says, all right, let me summarize this for you. First, Ulu is a legendary giant catfish. They say it has the power to turn an entire city into a massive lake. Originally, the land belonged to humans, but now it's just ruins occupied by Ulu. Thanks for the input. Second, because the mermaid tribe isn't strong enough to deal with that fish. They've had no choice but to keep it sealed away for the last 500 years. And third, and most importantly, Hansu turns to Aqua and says, hey, fish girl, give me your level. Aqua replies, annoyed, what if you're really a hero? Shouldn't you be able to see anyone's level whenever you want? Or are you a fake hero? Why are you acting like a thug? Hansu yells at Aqua. I just wanted you to say it out loud for everyone in this room to hear. That fish. The saintess, caught in the middle, says helplessly, can you two please just calm down? Aqua says, red-faced, fine, my level is around 310. I lost levels because of you, by the way. The mermaid queen is around 500. Hansu mumbles as he calculates. Aqua's sisters are probably around 250, and the regular merfolk are around 50. In 500 years, with all that manpower, you still couldn't handle Ulu, and now you expect two fresh newbie heroes like us to take it down? Why don't you just be honest for once? Tell me, what are our chances of success? Aqua sighs. Honestly, it's hopeless. Hansu yells angrily. Then why didn't you say that from the start, you fish-brained idiot? Are you trying to get slapped? The saintess asks suspiciously. Is that person over there really a hero? Sai asks clueless Hansu, if we haven't even fought it yet, how do we know if it's strong or not? Hansu replies with a sneer, oh, so you're going to be the vanguard then? Sai turns pale. That's a bit... Hansu thinks. This moron always speaks like he's lost his mind. Sai stammers. I'm only level 3, so... If this guy dies for his own ideals, as long as my reputation and character score aren't affected, I'll let him do whatever he wants. Sai laughs confidently. This will probably be fine, right? The saintess encourages, don't worry about it. Sai laughs excitedly. Even though we don't know how strong the enemy is, I know that with the power of love and friendship, we can overcome any hardship. Lanuvio excitedly says, Lanuvio will also contribute to the subjugation of Ulu, though I'm mostly just coming along to research. Hansu scoffs. Nobody asked Lanuvio. She says sadly, I know how to use magic too. The saintess says with a serious expression. It may not be much, but I will help all for the sake of world peace. But personally, helping my friends is no big deal at all. Aqua says, touched. Thank you. Right. The power of friendship, love, and all that. C thinks to himself, and just like that, the adventure of Hero Sai officially begins. They stack their hands on top of each other and shout in unison, "It's decided, then! Our goal is to defeat the guardian god Ulu," Lanuvio exclaims excitedly. It finally feels like I'm part of a real adventure. A true hero's adventure. What about everyone else? The Saintess replies immediately, I will do everything in my power for world peace, and for my friend, the brown-haired guy looking extremely worried. But still following the other two ads, I, Hero Sai, will give it my all for the Saintess. Aqua thinks for a moment and shouts, for my sisters! Kang Han-su says nothing, just smiles. But deep down he thinks, what a bunch of lunatics. And so, an adventure in the deep sea awaits the band of heroes. Well, the band of loser heroes as they return to the Imperial base. The protagonist rests his chin on his hand and says cheerfully, welcome, I've been waiting for you. The agreement and all the terms included in it, well, have already been prepared. All that's left for you to do is sign it. As soon as he finished, the person opposite him spoke in a stern voice. Where is Aqua? Is she still doing okay? The Mermaid Queen brushed it off. There's no need to concern yourself with such trivial matters. Just trust your hero here and everything will be fine. As long as you sign the treaty, your youngest daughter, your priceless treasure, won't come to any harm. Seeing the lemon sauce fish dish on the table, the Mermaid Queen broke into a cold sweat. She immediately grabbed the treaty and hurriedly signed it. Kang Han-su rested his chin on his hand and wore a smug grin, thinking to himself, since they're now part of the kingdom, I have a responsibility toward them. This is a fair and friendly treaty between the merfolk of Lake Bika and the human kingdom. But that doesn't mean I'll let myself get distracted by that nonsense friendship or whatever love those guys Lanuvo and Sid are talking about. After thinking this, he said to the Mermaid Queen, first, as members of the kingdom, the merfolk of Lake Bika must also follow the kingdom's laws. Second, to celebrate this newly established friendship and trust, the Mermaid Kingdom will send 3 princesses to the specially designed water tank within the royal garden as special guests. Those special guests will be chosen by the Queen herself, and if anyone is found to be an imposter, the Queen will be held fully responsible. Old man Alex, standing behind, thought to himself, that sounds just like the policies of the oppressors. The Mermaid Queen clenched her fists, gritting her teeth to suppress her rage, and replied, must it really come to this? Kang Han-su calmly responded, if you don't want to, then war is the only option left. The dam construction is nearly complete. Besides, among the merfolk, only Aqua has the ability to fight on land, right? And the person I'm referring to is currently receiving treatment for her wounds at our camp. Therefore, it's best you think clearly. It won't benefit you if war breaks out, will it? Furthermore, if you choose to trust and cooperate, the merfolk will receive protection from the kingdom and its legendary hero. In addition, the guardian deity Ulu. It will also be meticulously cared for by us. The Mermaid Queen glared and continued, we have always remained neutral, but having to choose between the kingdom and the Holy Empire. Kang Han-su cut her off, his voice icy. Now is the time to decide. The Mermaid Queen said nothing more and sat silently reading the contract. The boundary between the kingdom and the Holy Empire was now clear. This is finally what it feels like to be a leader. A moment later, the Queen seemed surprised and blurted out, you really are very different from the hero I once loved. Kang Han-su flashed a confident smile and replied, of course I'm different from that previous hero. Because I was never defeated by that demon lord Pedinar. Holding the fully signed treaty in his hand, Han-su declared, I now officially proclaim that the merfolk of Lake Bika, from this moment on, I have officially become a part of our kingdom, and Sid here, the hero, so will be the one responsible for protecting them. Caught off guard, Sid panicked. Me? Seeing the guy trying to dodge Han-su put on a demonic expression and leaned in close, whispering, I've done everything from preparing supplies and troops to finalizing the negotiations without asking for a single thing. Don't tell me this guy is the only hero here. So he has to do it all himself. Sid, terrified, quickly explained, no, I'm only level 3, you know, Han-su said sternly. Sid, since you're a hero, you should at least be able to do this much. And don't go dumping all the work on your friend like that. Done, just like that. The pioneer for the conquest of Ulu had been decided. Not only that the feat he was about to accomplish would be passed down for generations to come. Even with the title of guardian deity or whatever, it couldn't change the fact that it was just a catfish. As long as we can drag it out of the lake, we'll have a chance to win. At this moment, Kang Han-su is discussing the plan with the whole team. To do that, we have to drain the ruins where it's sleeping and force it to jump onto dry land. The old warrior heard this and exclaimed, a great plan, but to execute it. And we'd need soldiers who can breathe underwater. Hansu replied, "We have them. Soldiers who can breathe and operate underwater with agility. Per the conditions set in the treaty, those merfolk are already part of our army. What can I say? My plans are always perfect. They always succeed in finding the optimal solution while considering every possible contingency. However, somehow, my graduation plan is completely ruined, and it's all thanks to those saboteurs who are always trying to hold me back. And right now it feels like my train to graduation has officially jumped the tracks. Everything was going according to plan, or at least it was until a bunch of idiots messed it all up." Kang Hansu said in a panic as the lake started acting strange. "What are you talking about? I think it would be better for you to see it with your own eyes, hero." Hearing that, Hansu rushed over. A major disturbance was breaking out on the lake. Massive waves were crashing violently. "Guardian!" a voice echoed from beneath the churning water. The next second, the mermaid girl was thrown onto the shore. She cried out in terror, "It's awake! The Guardian has finally awakened! We have to get out of here now!" As she spoke, her fishtail began to transform into human-like legs. Kang Hansu, bewildered, asked, "The Guardian is awake, and in the very next moment," a pair of blood-red eyes surfaced staring straight at the protagonist, radiating an intense killing intent. Hansu thought to himself, "It seems my bad premonition has come true. During the third run, I failed in such an unfair way." Name Kang Hansu. Strategy A+. Achievement S. Reputation E. Morality F-. Evaluation. Allowing him to graduate might put Earth and other heroes in danger. And now, a chosen student that, even I find surprising. These annoying faces just keep popping up. Every morning when I wake up, all I want is to get out of this barbaric world, as soon as possible. Of course, just hoping isn't enough. It mostly comes down to my own efforts. I saved the people from that brainless king's rule, and found ways to help them overcome the drought. So why does everything always have to go in such a terrible direction? Suddenly a voice cut through the protagonist's train of thought. "You saw it, didn't you?" Aqua said, leaning on the saintess with a tired expression. "No matter how we sing, we just can't make it go back to sleep." Kang Hansu turned around cold-faced and asked, "Why?" Aqua explained, "The very emotions within the song have changed. Normally our power comes from the feelings inside the song, and for a lullaby to have the power to put something to sleep, it has to be filled with happy, warm emotions. If the song is dominated by other emotions, it can no longer be a true lullaby. We used to be able to control it because we understood the Guardian's power better than anyone else in the world." Saying this, she couldn't keep her cool anymore and snapped, "Don't you know that you, the hero, are the one who woke it up? The lullaby has changed. It's no different now than the songs my mother sang at the end of each month, a song filled with longing and sorrow, lacking the joy and warmth it once had. It's all because our home was invaded and my sisters were forced to leave our homeland. You are the root cause of that sorrow." Kang Hansu heard these words and stared blankly at his own hands. "I see. Now I understand that everything I've done up until this point went wrong somewhere." Seeing him like this, the saintess called out to him with a worried face. Kang Hansu was still lost in thought, his face dark. He muttered, "I was just too soft during those negotiations back then. I should have used force from the beginning to crush them. Those damn fish. It ruined all my plans." The mermaid girls were grumbling to each other. "Get up, hurry! We have to leave here as soon as possible." Another girl added, "I really can't control these legs at all. Is it just because you don't want to sing properly?" At this moment, Hero Sai and the blonde girl also arrived. "La Nouveau, you're here? How is the singing going?" On the other side, Old Man Alex was launching an attack on the Guardian. Ulu the archer and the mage moved into position, targeting the monster ahead, ready to fire on command. A series of magic orbs were fired toward the Guardian. Kang Hansu stood there and blurted out, "Not even a scratch." He immediately checked Ulu's status window. Race Chaos Giant, level 999 plus. Class Water Emperor, skill Destruction S Blessing S Stamina A Accumulation, a Chaos. A, status Irritated. So it gets a buff while inside the lake, huh? How annoying. Then Hansu turned to the girl and said, "La Nouveau, it's time for you to prove your worth as a teammate of the hero. You can't escape your responsibility for this either." La Nouveau's face went pale. Hansu continued, "Try your best to drag that fish out of the lake. Weren't you the one who fully agreed to catching Ulu for research? But if you want to be known as the villain of humanity that badly, I won't stop you." Hansu urged, "Come on, try your best to pull that fish out of the lake. Weren't you one of the people who agreed heart and soul to capture Ulu for research? But hey, if you really want to be the villain of humanity, I won't stop you." La Nouveau didn't dare to hesitate, casting her skill while replying, "I was just about to use gravity reversal on it." With a loud shout, she seemed to pour 200% of her strength into the attack. Nothing happened at first, but a second later the guardian's body suddenly rose from the lake. Hansu craned his neck to watch and said, "No way it actually worked." Lenovo was absolutely thrilled. "Kang Hansu, look, I did it." Yeah, just hold that pose for a second." But things weren't going to be that easy. A massive foot suddenly emerged from the lake landing right where Hansu's group was standing. "Are you okay?" The three of them were sitting inside a bubble to escape. Hansu said, dumbfounded, "What just happened?" Lenovo, with a terrified expression, said, "Kang Hansu, this thing." Kang Hansu followed her gaze. Before them was something so enormous that he had to tilt his head back 180 degrees just to see it. He thought to himself in horror, "I knew that little Aqua was still hiding something from me." This guardian had legs. It wasn't just a regular fish. It was a giant with a fish head. In a dramatic scene, a mountain-sized figure cast its shadow over the lakeside village. The giant catfish Ulu crawled onto the shore, sending the surrounding villagers running for their lives. The guardian, with its colossal stature, made everyone retreat wherever it walked. Its massive feet callously crushed everything in their path. Its growling sound grew louder with every pulse. Inside a bubble, Lenovo exclaimed in shock, "Kang Hansu, look." Hansu followed her gaze and realized that Aqua and the Saintess were still safe down there. The Saintess waved to signal them while Kang Hansu replied coldly, "Why are you panicking? With their skill level, they'll definitely survive this attack." Before he could even finish, Hansu angrily dived down. "Aqua, you told me it was just a catfish." Aqua glared back. "Don't call me that. I never said it was just a giant fish." "Then what was that picture you showed me earlier?" Hansu asked in a challenging tone. Aqua shrugged. "It was just a children's storybook. Is it wrong to simplify its appearance? Kids are very impressionable. If they saw Ulu's true form, they'd be terrified. What now? I'm the one with the problem." Hansu was furious. "Just stop talking. Every time you open your mouth, I can smell the fishiness on you." As the two were arguing, they suddenly felt that something was wrong. The catfish had reached them. "Kang Hansu, what do we do now?" Lenovo asked anxiously. "We stick to the original plan," Hansu replied firmly. The plan was for the legendary hero Sai to be the vanguard against the giant monster threatening them. Upon hearing his name, Sai turned pale with panic. But I'm only level 3. Captain Alex's booming voice rang out, "Archers, focus fire on its calves, ready fire!" Thousands of arrows instantly flew toward the Guardian, but it didn't do a thing to it. Alex's face went pale with shock. "What is going on?" The sky was suddenly swallowed by darkness. Alex jumped onto his horse, panicking. "Everyone retreat! Try to save your lives!" With Master Malang's secret technique, he had enhanced his vision to ensure he wouldn't miss any target. Even from a great distance, the arrows were stuck on the giant monster's legs, but that was just the beginning of an inevitable battle. Lenovo saw the situation getting tense and wondered, "You can see that from this far away. Did you just learn some kind of magic? That's not scientific at all." Aqua behind them replied, "Its weak point isn't there. With the arrows just now, there's no way they'll pierce skin as thick as a steel wall." Hansu countered, "You can't say that." He looked back at her, smiled slightly, and continued, "The skin hit by those arrows isn't healing at all. Ever since it left the lake, it doesn't receive the lake's blessing anymore. In short, the weakness we know of right now is that it's out of the water. We'll figure out the rest later." The pink-haired girl, Lenovo, said anxiously, "It looked pretty angry just now. Should we chase it?" The Saintess timidly added, "Look, it was furious when it was woken up, but I don't understand why it's so calm now. This is strange, isn't it?" Suddenly, Sai, with a bright expression acting like he understood, said, "Saintess, I figured out what's going on. I think everything it's been doing this whole time is just fighting back against the people who attacked it. I was hoping we could settle this peacefully." But before I could even finish talking, Hansu grabbed Sai by the shoulder and said, "The time has come, hasn't it?" Sai's surprise. "The best time to strike is when your enemy drops their guard right after this legendary battle. There's surely going to be an epic poem about the hero and the power of love and friendship that will be passed down forever." Trembling. Wait a second. An epic poem. Isn't there any simpler way to do this? Hansu, with an excited look, grabbed his friend by the collar and said, "Let's go, great hero. A path of glory is waiting for you right ahead." Aqua spoke up from behind. "We should get moving too, don't you think?" The Saintess surprisingly called her name. "Aqua, even though that hero is a bit rough around the edges, I have to admit that he really has the guts of a true warrior." Seeing her friend so pumped up, the Saintess's previous anxiety instantly vanished. "Aqua, your eyes looked a bit different just now, didn't they?" Lenovo said smugly. "I knew it. Hero Kang Hansu is truly special." Right then, Hansu was dragging Sai and charging straight toward the catfish. "We're here! Go crazy, Sai. Don't worry about me. I'll try my best to draw its attention for you. Watching Sai scramble toward the catfish, Hansu couldn't help but grin, thinking to himself, if he kicks the bucket from getting caught in the crossfire between me and the monster, then everything will turn out perfectly. Of course, that won't affect my reputation or integrity at all, because it would just be an accident. With that, Kang Hansu stepped next to Ululu's massive leg and wondered, now how should I deal with this? He used Master Molang's secret technique, breaking his body's limits. Hansu channeled all his strength and leaped. The next second, like a streak of light, he soared straight toward the top of the catfish's head. It doesn't matter how big you are. As long as you have a human-like body structure, meaning your muscles and bones are built like a human's, then your weak points won't be any different. Now where should I start? He thought, preparing for the inevitable battle at that moment. Hansu's body was now on top of the guardian deity's head. He threw a full-force punch down, which looked like it would unleash a devastating blow, but to his surprise, the catfish didn't even flinch. Kang Hansu frowned, thinking, this is bad. Clenching his fist against the ground, his mind wandered. He had plenty of skills, but his raw power was severely lacking, so attacking the joints and muscles just wouldn't work. No matter the attack, it requires enough impact force to put the enemy at a disadvantage. Otherwise, what's the point? It's like a fly trying to bite a healthy man. He thought, frustrated, hey, you human, watch as I break your neck. Huh? Tiny Kang Hansu stood on Ululu's head, feeling exhausted. I'm so annoyed. Oh, the only way to solve the current problem is to level up as much as possible, but where on earth is he supposed to find experience points now? He sighed. Plus, he's the only one who benefits from leveling up anyway. The scene cuts to Sai. After Hansu tossed him aside, the guy was free-falling into a bush, silently complaining, why? Did Hansu throw me without even saying a word first? But interestingly, Sai's landing spot was right beneath the catfish. It glared its giant eyes at him. Hansu, standing on top of the catfish's head, saw this and shouted loudly, that's it, Sai, now beat it to a pulp. Hearing this, Sai panicked and replied, But Hansu, I don't think I can last even a second against it. It'll kill me in one hit. Don't worry about a thing, I'll never ever forget you, Hansu said with a cheerful face, but deep down he was calculating, it'll take at least another hour for the others to catch up. Now go get him, great hero! Just then the catfish began to move. It opened its mouth wide, revealing sharp teeth. Sai screamed in fear, save me! I just got summoned to my dream world and finally met the Saintess, and now I have to become lunch for a fish. But strangely, the catfish didn't even pay attention to Sai and kept moving, leaving him shocked and helpless. Lenovo inside her bubble said urgently, see Hansu, I've found you. Have you seen hero Kang Hansu anywhere? Sai, still dazed, replied subconsciously, he's on top of its head. Lenovo looked at Ululu and marveled. It's strange to see the monster so quiet, isn't it? Huh. We just woke it from a deep sleep. If it were angry, that would be understandable, but reality is completely different. She continued, look at it now, it looks incredibly calm. All it's been doing so far is walking slowly. Even though there was some damage, Kang Hansu sat cross-legged on the other side, grumbling, man, who would have thought this giant guy would be so useless? Hey, where did that rage go? You were kicking everything in your path just a moment ago. Didn't we just wake you up from your slumber? So why are you just standing there like a statue? The catfish, Ululu, didn't understand a word, but suddenly a memory of a sword flashed in its mind. The very next second, all of the catfish's whiskers turned toward one spot. It became enraged. Kang Hansu, sitting on its head, was thrown off balance by the speed. At that moment, suddenly I remembered something I said in the past. It's been a fun ride, comrade. Ulu picked up speed, sprinting past the edge of the forest and climbing the great mountain. Hansu shouted in horror, where the hell are you taking us? Stop it right now. The giant catfish looked like a rampaging King Kong leaping over peaks at breakneck speed. Hansu clung to the top of its head for dear life. He thought, with a build like that, plus that damn S-rank destructive skill, look at every step it takes. It's like a bomb going off under its feet. And of course the trouble didn't stop there. Lanuvo and the Four Eyes arrived in their orb. Kang Hansu. Lanuvo called out, her face filled with worry. Thank goodness you're okay. This is bad, Kang Hansu. Look at where that monster is headed. Do you have any idea where this damn giant is rushing to? It's the kingdom of that idiot, the Dumpling Face King. It's one of the most densely populated areas on the continent. If this keeps up, isn't this just going to be another massacre like the Dragon Emperor Nubius? Lanuvo said anxiously. Hurry, find a way to slow this beast down. If you want to save these innocent lives, help me figure something out. I absolutely cannot let this massive bastard reach the kingdom. Hansu roared as he maxed out his physical strength. Damn it, my whole plan was running so smoothly, but now we've entered a zone. You're full of monsters just like the Dragon Emperor did last time. This won't work. I can't keep avoiding leveling up. Even though it ruins things with the Demon King if I lose all my reputation and achievements. Just because of this overgrown beast, then it was all for nothing anyway. You have to graduate this time. Kang Han-su, he told himself, determined not to let things slip through his fingers. Just then a giant shadow tore through the forest. Shadow tore. The local wildlife stood frozen in shock, unaware of what was happening. Han-su thought an S-rank skill that can destroy everything in its path just by stepping on it. If I don't stop it in time, there's going to be total carnage. You useless hero, get out of here. The instructor's voice echoed in his mind. Your reputation is truly abysmal. I fear graduation is impossible, even though we sent a model hero down there to stop this mess. I am very disappointed in you, Kang Han-su. Oh, come on. The professor can't just blame everything on Han-su like that. If you want to blame someone, blame the gap in raw talent. He muttered, feeling a surge of anger. I'm not letting you get your way any longer. Kang Han-su pursued it, killing as many monsters as he could to level up. His level began to climb rapidly. Still too slow. Damn it, my experience and level are still pathetic compared to the Demon King. Suddenly, Lenovo rushed in from behind. Kang Han-su, we're here! The Saintess and Aqua had arrived along with the Four Eyes. We want to help you. Every time the monster jumped, everything around them was sent into chaos. Han-su let us lend a hand. I'm already racking my brain trying to figure out how to level up as fast as possible, and now they show up wanting to leech experience. If you want to help, just stand back. Why the hell did you come all the way here? Han-su thought. Hero, what should we do to help you? Just do whatever you can? Lenovo find a way to tie it down. Tie it down. But how? She hesitated. Just give it everything you've got. Even just for a second will be enough. Han-su encouraged her. If you trust me, then Lenovo declared, I won't let you down. My title as an archaeologist isn't just for show. With that, Lenovo cast an ice magic spell hitting the ground right in front of the catfish. As the giant monster stepped into it, nothing seemed to happen. Han-su frowned, looking annoyed. Damn it, why did I put my faith in... But the very next second, the ground beneath the catfish froze solid, causing it to faceplant into the earth. Everything around them was swallowed by a cloud of dust. Han-su, was that enough? A voice called out. Aqua, I need your help, Han-su shouted. Aqua looked surprised. What, all of a sudden I thought you wanted to do this alone? Placing his hand on Aqua's shoulder, Han-su said with a serious look. I'll take full responsibility for the consequences. She looked at him with a blank stare. Consequences. I'll explain later. Immediately after, Han-su planted a forceful kiss on Aqua. She was caught completely off guard, her face turning bright red. The others stood there with their jaws dropped, completely shocked out of their minds by what they were seeing. The mermaid was terrified as she was being forcefully kissed by Han-su, and he still hadn't let her go, but there was absolutely no romantic feeling between them. The S-rank poison resistance skill had been activated, and if Aqua got hit by the poison, she'd be done for right then and there. The Saintess was in total shock, calling out her name before turning to Kang Han-su in astonishment, saying, Kang Han-su, what is the meaning of this? Why would you do that to Aqua Saintess? Just resurrect her, will you? What's the problem? How can you say something like that? Even though she was exhausted, Aqua still tried her best to come all the way here to support you. The Saintess retorted, and the atmosphere suddenly turned dark. Han-su calmly replied, I know exactly how many levels she lost, and I will definitely bring them back, so stop nagging. The main character stood firmly ready to strike. Looking at the pitch-black flow of mana in front of him, he thought to himself, I don't have enough time to run around farming for levels until Ulu gets back up. However, if I open an experience box, I'll have 318 levels ready to go. Then, time wouldn't be an issue anymore. Han-su's status window suddenly popped up. After absorbing the experience from killing Aqua, Han-su had reached level 85. Staring at his own level, Han-su started to ponder. Jumping from 21 to 85 in one go, if you just look at it, it seems like he's only about 4 times stronger than before. But with the number of high-tier skills he currently possessed, that was a completely different story. After being knocked flat on its face, the guardian deity also started to wake up. Its mouth kept shouting, Ulu, Ulu. The moment it lifted its head, Han-su, who was right above it, dove down at lightning speed with a confident look on his face. Han-su unleashed his first strike. This impact was no longer like a mosquito bite. It caused the entire creature's skull to cave in, and the sound of bones snapping echoed out. There it is. This is exactly the sound I wanted to hear, Han-su thought, feeling satisfied. As expected, leveling up thanks to Aqua was the right move. The creature kept opening its mouth, wailing, "Ulu ulu." Before it could understand what was happening, Hansu, standing on its head, clenched his fist and threw another punch with all the strength of Master Molang's secret arts activated. Every single one of his skills was being put to use. Hansu cracked a smug smile, thinking, "This is my revenge for what you did to Aqua." The top of Ulu's head where he landed the hit was completely crushed, and the shockwave from the blow rippled throughout the surroundings. The Saintess was still trying her best to resurrect Aqua. She called out worriedly, "Aqua! Aqua! Answer me!" As Aqua spoke, she placed a hand on her stomach, trying to revive her friend. A moment later, the mermaid suddenly spat out the poison. Fortunately, Aqua was resurrected. As soon as she came back to life, her face twisted in anger and she screamed, "Heavens!" The Saintess looked confused and asked, "Ah, you're awake. What just happened? Where is that guy?" Aqua asked. "I don't know. I was too busy saving you, so I didn't pay attention to him," the Saintess replied. Su, who was standing nearby, looked stunned and blurted out, "Hey! I think Hansu has successfully stopped Ulu." Ulu's massive body now seemed to have no strength left in it at all. It struggled to lift one hand, reaching toward some place it wanted to go. Hansu stood on top of Ulu wearing a victor's smile and said, "What a shame. If I had met you before I found Nubius, perhaps we could have become comrades. But right now I don't need a second Dragon Emperor, so I'm sorry. Everything is for my own future after all." After finishing off Ulu, Hansu's level rose to 70, and his levels continued to jump. Observing his status window, he thought pensively, it seems like dealing with the Demon King Padona is going to take a bit more effort. But why didn't any of my skills upgrade? Are they already too high level? What's this? There was still one skill that leveled up. It wasn't like none of them did. Hansu realized it was thanks to this that he managed to keep all his skills during the second round. He noticed a new effect, cannot be destroyed. Hansu tried slicing his arm to test it, but immediately afterward, the wound healed itself rapidly. He muttered to himself, "But it's not like my body doesn't have the ability to regenerate on its own either. With the natural healing ability I got from Master Molang, getting hurt is no big deal to me." Lanuvo's voice suddenly rang out, "Kang Hansu, you're still alive." As she tried to hug Hansu, he poked her forehead and pushed her away. "Now don't just jump on me like that. You really are something." At this moment, the sky began to rain. Hansu looked at the raindrops pattering down deep in thought. It's raining. So that legend was actually true. When he first heard the story about Ulu, he was still skeptical about it, but he didn't expect that. Down below, Aqua and the Saintess were still watching Hansu intently. Aqua said, "At first I honestly thought he was going to fail." The Saintess turned to ask worriedly, "Aqua, are you okay?" "It seems like there's still a bit of a side effect. It's nothing, I just feel a bit strange, that's all." Aqua replied, her emotions a bit tangled. "Guardian deity Ulu, the monster that has kept my race bound for 500 years. Even my father, who was once a hero, couldn't do anything about it. But that guy, you saw that he was very strong, didn't you?" The Saintess sighed and pondered for a moment before replying, "Well, I suppose that's true." As they were talking, the Saintess's expression looked a bit uncomfortable. At this moment, Aqua's face suddenly brightened up. Her face was blushing intensely, which was extremely strange. Realizing something was wrong, the Saintess was in total shock, mouth agape, saying, "Don't tell me it's you." The mermaid friend replied blankly, What's wrong?" The Saintess whimpered, "It's nothing at all." "Aqua, I will definitely protect you," I said. Aqua was surprised. "Why did you suddenly say that? But thanks, I guess." Just as the legends foretold, the rain poured down as if a dam had burst. And so Hansu didn't even need to worry about bringing water from the Mermaid Lake to the kingdom anymore, as the drought issue was resolved quite nicely. At the underground base, a joyous atmosphere filled the air. Every nation across the 6 continents was hailing the hero. A minion reported, "Yes, master," while Kang Hansu lay on a pile of gold, smiling contentedly. He thought to himself, "Man, this time I might actually be able to graduate." The minions asked, puzzled, "But still, when exactly is this rain supposed to stop?" After a period of torrential downpour, the first rays of sunlight finally broke through the sky. With the heavy rain lasting for 10 consecutive days, flash floods were inevitable. "Hero, where are you? Come on out already." "Didn't the rain stop? I'm right here." Hansu sighed. "The reputation points I was so excited about have finally turned into a stain that's hard to wash away. What am I supposed to do now?" The calls from before continued to echo. Aqua looked around anxiously and said, "Is he still like that?" The Saintess behind her replied sadly, "Yeah, Every time I come to check the situation, just keeps getting worse. Hey, Aqua asked suddenly. Why is the human palace leaking so much? Is it poor construction? Or is the civilization just too backward? Aqua, could you please be a bit more careful with your words? They could affect the diplomatic relations between us, the Saintess reminded her. 10 days ago, right after Ululu was defeated, Hansu and Lanuvo stood in the rain shouting with joy. My reputation points earth here. I come, Kang Hansu, you're amazing. C stood to one side, feeling the exact opposite. He clenched his fists, showing his determination. I can't just keep on like this. It's time for the hero side to shine. After that, Hansu and Lanuvo went over to the two girls to regroup. Seeing them, Aqua spoke up. Hey, you brute of a hero. Hearing that, Hansu smirked provocatively, replying, What? Who are you calling a brute, you fish? Forget it. I'm in a good mood, so I won't hold it against you. Aqua stepped forward, her bare feet touching the ground, and said, Killed twice by you. Do you really think I've forgotten about that? Hansu replied nonchalantly, Well, I forgot. And the amount of experience I lost after respawning. Ridiculous. Don't think I'll just let that slide, Aqua retorted. Her expression changed 180 degrees. She wrapped her arms around Hansu's neck. She said, If you've brought me to this point, then you have to take responsibility for me for the rest of your life. Hansu, caught by surprise, turned red with anger and shouted, Don't you dare hug me, you fish! Just like lions hunting their prey. Hansu suddenly remembered the reason Aqua had appeared in that lakeside town. She came to find a life partner for herself and her kin. Of course, as the daughter of a hero and a member of the mermaid royal family, her standards weren't low at all. She was only interested in those with a level of at least 600 or higher. The status window showed Hansu in a state of shame, panic, and realization. Great. I've got another burden stuck to me. Seeing Hansu trying to dodge, Aqua shouted, trying to run away. Don't even dream of it. I'll follow you to the ends of the earth. I'm begging you, let me go. Hansu tried to push her away. Just then Sai ran over, calling, Hansu, Hansu! Hansu pushed Aqua off with both hands and turned around. What is it? If you've got something to say, just say it. Sai immediately spoke in a very serious tone. I've decided. I'm going to set off to find the legendary holy sword for myself. A holy sword? After seeing you defeat Ulu, I realized that I have to become a hero myself. If I don't change, I'll definitely be left behind and become a burden to you. To find the holy sword, Sai would surely transform into a true hero and stand side by side with the Saintess on the journey to find it. The Saintess, upon hearing this, her face darkened and she tried to call out for help. Aqua, save me! The Saintess whimpered. Me. That's right, Saintess Nim, you will accompany me on the adventure, right? No, I can't do that, I'm sorry. See, being rejected stood frozen in place. The Saintess continued, Please don't misunderstand, Nim, because from now on, I have to protect Aqua's heroic descendant. I can't let that filthy so-called hero lay a hand on him. Besides, you can go look for it yourself, can't you? I am certain that this quest for the holy sword will contribute significantly to Segan's growth. Four Eyes replied, but I only wanted to be with her. And that is how Aqua and the Saintess joined Hansu's party. The drought was resolved as soon as the rain poured down. Not only the dumpling-faced king, but all the nations in the heart of the continent were cheering. They cheered for Hansu, but that only lasted for 5 days. After that, his reputation score started plummeting straight into the ground. It took 10 days for that massive waterfall to finally stop. After the storm cleared, Hansu said with an excited look, Should I just run off to meet the Demon King so I can speed up the reset process? The instructor's voice echoed again. Since when did the Demon King become such a trivial matter? Oh, the professor is here. My vacation just turned into a complete disaster. I am deeply sorry for the recent incident. But listen here, Hansu. You shouldn't just throw away the whole kite just because you lost the kite string. Even if it didn't go according to plan, didn't you manage to solve the drought and break the chains for the mermaid tribe? If you look at it positively, hearing this, Hansu immediately frowned and said, Is that so? But I was tricked and used by those wicked mermaids. That family even woke up a mutant catfish queen just to stomp on my reputation. Should I go gather them all now and turn them into sashimi? The instructor, hearing this, replied in a fit of rage, Could you please stop thinking like that? It's not over yet. Whether your reputation score goes up or down depends entirely on how people perceive you. Since the entire continent has its eyes on you, can't you just make up for it by doing another good deed? Another good deed? Hansu furrowed his brow. Let me give you a suggestion. For example, helping your friend become stronger. Scene transition to the training grounds, heavy, ragged breathing echoed constantly. Ha! Ha! I can't take it anymore, I'm going to die. Save me. Master Alex stood up with a weary but determined face. The journey to find the Holy Sword won't be this easy. Furthermore, the kingdom has supported Hero Sai a great deal, but all you do is trail behind the saintess without any purpose. That has made the nobility and even His Majesty feel very disappointed, and perhaps they won't support you anymore. But I still have faith in you, Hero Sai. You must be the only one to retrieve the Holy Sword and not that guy. Ah, whatever. I trust that you will be the one to defeat the Demon King. Alex looked at Sai with expectant eyes. If you want to find the Holy Sword alone, you are still too weak. Just listen to what Alex says, and if you do that, you will certainly succeed. Hansu, standing outside the training area, triggered his own thoughts. At this rate, he's going to kick the bucket before he even gets strong. How should I help him? The click-clack of high heels echoed in the quiet space. Inside a brightly lit room, two people were sparring. Every strike and counter was executed with fierce intensity. Keep going. You still have a long way to go. An encouraging voice rang out from outside. Three figures stood watching every move. One was a burly man in gleaming armor. After pinning Hero Sai to the ground, he said, "Your passion is still not enough. Get up if you keep going like this. How will you ever catch up to that guy?" Suddenly, a loud call rang out. Captain Alex, the burly guy, looked back in confusion at the sound. At that very moment, the Queen appeared, making the atmosphere much more formal. She said, "I may be overstepping my bounds by asking this." But Alex, kneeling respectfully below, quickly replied, "Please do not say that, because every word you speak is a command to your servant, my Queen." The sewer system beneath the royal palace is the source of the recent rumors within the kingdom. Therefore, I hope it will be handled by you soon, regardless of whether it causes harm to this kingdom or not. Hearing this, the man bowed his head and said firmly, "Protecting the kingdom is the duty of a knight. Your servant will surely—" Alex's words were cut off. As an arm was raised, everyone present looked back in surprise. Sai, with his weak body, was lying sprawled on the ground, whispering, I want to participate too." Alex was taken aback, sweat beading on his forehead. The Queen smiled gently at Sai. If the hero had said so, clearly the Queen had granted permission. The two of them, one big, one small, knelt down and shouted in unison, "We will carry out your command well. I wish you all the best." Sai, hearing this, pushed up his glasses and smiled contentedly. From a higher vantage point, Hansu watched the situation below. He clapped his hands and wore a very satisfied smile. He must have realized by now that if things keep going like this, he'll be nothing more than a punching bag for Alex. Besides, isn't this a great opportunity for someone who is craving for EXP? Are you well? Consider this a special event I've tailored just for you. Hansu, just make sure you don't get so greedy that you end up losing your life. Suddenly feeling anxious about his own reputation, Hansu poked his head out and asked, "Hey, do you need me to come along?" Sil and Alex replied in perfect unison, radiating pure confidence. "No, we're good. Bye," Hansu thought to himself. It's not that I didn't want to help, they just didn't need me. After receiving the mission, the royal army was mobilized. Captain Alex spoke with a solemn expression. "Our target is currently deep inside the sewers. Below the palace, the Queen had warned them to stay sharp because there was only one entrance, meaning the beast was completely trapped inside. Complete the mission at all costs to honor our title as knights. Move out." "I've done everything I can to help them," Hansu mused, having provided all the necessary intel like the monster's location, the danger zones, and the best ways to navigate them. Suddenly a piercing scream echoed through the tunnels. The entire squad scrambled in that direction, and Captain Alex ordered, "Over there!" The sound came from here, but there was one thing Hansu hadn't told them, and it was the most important detail. After venturing deeper, Alex's squad laid eyes on a massive boss with 3 glowing red eyes. After finishing its meal, the monster turned to look at the intruders with 7 terrifying red eyes. Alex's men were all wincing in pure horror. Sil, standing behind Alex, was frozen, unable to utter a word. The level of the boss, the creature gaping with a maw like a bottomless cave, was a chimera level 450. Looking at that massive gaping mouth of the chimera, the whole squad panicked. Captain Alex frantically tried to reassure them, "Don't panic, stay focused, hold your formation." Sil was gasping for air, his face filled with dread at the thought of facing a monster with such a level. It was terrifyingly high. Before they could even collect themselves, the chimera snatched one of the soldiers and began chewing him up. Seeing this, Alex shouted, "Sil, you are the hero and the hope of our kingdom. I swear on my honor as a knight I will do everything in my power to ensure you return home safely. Everyone advance." And just like that, 3 days and 2 nights passed. The scene shifts to a tavern, where people were happily drinking. The bartender greeted the guests, handing out beers, and said, "Free drinks. Hero Hansu is covering the whole bar." Shouts of excitement erupted. "Cheers to our hero Sil, bottoms up." The whole bar was having a blast hoisting their glasses except for the hero Syl, the star of the party, who was sitting there miserable. The tension rose. Hansu cleared his throat and said, "Ahem, and let's not forget, to the tragic passing of Sir Alex." "Cheers!" Syl's face was still pale with shock snot and tears streaming down his face. Hansu looked up in the ceiling, lost in thought. So Alex is dead. Honestly, I didn't expect that to happen. That chimera monster definitely had a higher level than Alex. But with his skills and combat experience, that gap should have been bridged. The problem was the appearance of a special variable. That variable is called Syl. To protect Syl completely, Alex gave up on running and faced the monster head-on. The result: his body was left in such a state that even the Saintess couldn't resurrect him. It's not like Syl is the only hero, right? Hansu thought to himself, this guy is really something else. The cheers of the crowd pulled Hansu out of his thoughts. Cheers to the Royal Knights. They're true heroes. Sir Alex was always talking about how great hero Hansu was. Seeing how amazing he is? Hearing the praise, Hansu felt a little pleased. He leaned over, patted the guy on the shoulder, and encouraged him, "Come on now, Syl, buddy. Cheer up. The monster ate Sir Alex, and you killed the monster. By that logic, isn't he still living on inside you in the form of experience points?" The two guys who were just praising Hansu's kindness froze, looking bewildered, and whimpered, what the hell is that supposed to be kind? Hansu gave a thumbs up and cheerfully continued, "That's exactly why you have to keep being strong." Syl burst into even more tears upon hearing that. Then he lost his mind, screaming Sir Alex's name. Hansu looked stunned, frowned, and sighed. How annoying. I really tried to comfort him. Well, I don't really care about that anyway. After that, Hansu checked the status board. Human race level 102. Class hero. 500% XP boost. Skill interpretation. Stamina A, persistence. A swordsmanship. B, survival. B, resilience. C, status. Agony. Regret. Exhaustion. Well, the hunt did help him gain a decent amount of levels. And his defensive skills also leveled up quite a bit. Lenovo, seeing Syl like that, walked over to Hansu to gossip. "It looks like you don't like Sir Alex. But in reality, you trusted him a lot, didn't you?" Hansu grimaced, thinking, "Trouble comes looking for me again." Then he coldly replied, "And what about you? Why don't you drop the cute act?" Lenovo puffed out her cheeks and replied, "I'm not acting. This is just how I am." Seeing this, Hansu couldn't help but laugh. "Ha ha ha ha! Why are you laughing like that, you jerk?" Lenovo asked, clearly annoyed. "Where did your sense of shame go?" The worst outcome of that plan was the sacrifice of those royal knights. They were supposed to get a ton of XP, but they got wiped out instead. That's a pretty huge loss, but at least I've got a backup plan. Lost in thought. Hansu glanced over to see Lenovo had already downed 10 beers. Furious, he snatched the 11th mug right out of her hand. "That's enough. How much longer do you plan on drinking? Any more and you're actually gonna die. Besides, I'm just about broke over here." Lenovo ignored him, scrambled up, and immediately ordered another round. Hansu cursed under his breath. "Damn it!" The light-hearted atmosphere suddenly shifted when Sir Thierry burst out shouting, "Sir Alex, I will definitely carry on your dreams and ambitions from here on out." Hansu just stared, completely baffled by what was wrong with his friend. He turned to Lenovo and asked, "Is that beer? Well, I guess you're old enough for it." She just kept muttering as he walked, "Time to start my romantic adventure." What the hell is wrong with that guy? Is he going through some weird puberty phase? The scene shifted to the royal palace. Hansu was still sleeping like a log when Lenovo's voice rang out, echoing through the entire Kang castle. Hansu was sleeping peacefully before being jolted awake. He yelled in frustration and collapsed back down, complaining, "How the hell are you even still alive after downing all that beer?" "Wait, somebody help me," Lenovo chimed in. "Now's not the time to worry about that she-nim has a girlfriend, you know. Not just one, he's got 3, that's incredible." Hansu yawned, thinking to himself, "Isn't that just a harem? That guy spends all his time getting his butt kicked. When would he even have time to pick up girls?" He thought, "Looks like beating the Demon Lord will have to be put on hold." Put on hold, because this is honestly just too curious. The 3 companions joining Shur on his journey are daughters of famous count families. A priest, a dark elf slave, and finally a bandit that nobody can even tell apart. Anyway, they're all young and beautiful, that's what Lenovo just said. Hansu crossed his arms, frowned, and said, "Come on now. It's a party that would make anyone curious," Lenovo exclaimed in surprise. "Really?" Hansu didn't answer right away. He sighed, thinking, if only Alex hadn't buried himself, I would have gone with them if he really wanted to save that pathetic hero. He should have just sacrificed himself. Instead, he sacrificed the entire royal palace guard. This is such a mess. It won't be long before the secret that I'm running this kingdom gets out. What happens if the kingdom isn't stable by then? My reputation will be ruined by people cursing like, so you're saying our kingdom ended up like this because of that bastard Hansu, even though the whole group did it. Seeing he wasn't saying anything, Lenovo asked blankly, Kang Hansu, are you going to follow Shi? Are you out of your mind? What about my reputation and the kingdom's? Suddenly, Hansu gestured angrily and shouted, anyway, whose fault is it that Alex died in the first place? And why are the Royale Knights like that? He didn't even take any responsibility, and now what? He's going on a little trip with those girls. After a long rant, he turned thoughtful. I can't believe a guy like that has such a low moral character. Are those people out of their minds? Just then, the guide's voice echoed from behind him. He didn't abandon his responsibilities. After all, he'll grow stronger through his journey and he will repay your kindness. Hansu grimaced and retorted, and while we wait who's going to protect the kingdom, I just hope he comes back stronger soon. It's just so irresponsible. Right now, this kingdom is nothing but an empty shell. If I gave the order or if foreign enemies invaded, anyone could take the throne, but that idiot doesn't even know. That there's something wrong with the kingdom acting like the peace I created is just natural. The guide added, don't be so negative. Kang Hansu, the only thing that can make a person happy is their state of mind. If you fill yourself with hope and dreams, you can face the future. Hansu replied, isn't that just a way to escape? I know what you're trying to say, but that's no different than gambling. I'm different. I face the present and lead the future. That's why I'm preparing these people. These recruits whose only focus is initial combat orientation skills. 100 out of 10,000 people will undergo rigorous training under the tutelage of a B-rank demon. In other words, out of these 10,000 people, only 1% get chosen. So inefficient. Hansu smiled and said, the Royal Palace Knights were only famous because of their titles. From now on, you are the future of the kingdom. At that, a sinister purple aura covered the entire space where Hansu was standing. He spoke in a savage tone. Don't waste time, I'll give you a chance. Even those without names, when you become stronger, find a name for yourselves, and I will pave the way for you. Consider this the birth of the Shadow Knights. The status screen of the dark human race suddenly appeared. Their status had transformed, filled with blind faith and excitement. Seeing this, Hansu thought to himself, this is the strength of S-rank dark energy. He smirked and continued, you have all been reborn. Do you believe in me? As soon as he finished speaking, the crowd below shouted in unison, we believe in you. From this moment on, I will tell you which hunting grounds are the most suitable. You have 1 month. Go. Every single one of you must reach level 200, even if it means risking your lives. If you fail, it doesn't matter. That's just a problem for the weak. Watching the crowd below rushing off, Hansu smirked from ear to ear, thinking to himself, it won't be a problem restoring the kingdom's power, and as for me, I'll boost my reputation within a month. Ulu, I'll investigate where he's planning to go. Well, not entirely. I could kill the Demon King if I wanted to. Suddenly, Lenovo piped up from behind him excitedly, exclaiming, wow, the hero is truly amazing! Hansu winced, retorting, what the? How long have you been standing there? The atmosphere was terrifying. I honestly thought you were the incarnation of the Demon King. Your acting skills are incredible. Have you ever even seen the Demon King before? No. Geez, you scared the life out of me. Hansu snapped, frustrated. Stop talking like you know everything. Brats like you just ruin people's reputations and get them spreading nasty rumors. Hansu thought to himself, whatever I think, I just can't accept this feeling. My reputation in the second round, I wiped out the demons, yet my reputation made it seem like I'd done something evil. I have to try a different approach this time. 4. A rough estimate of my current points. 1 combat power, no issue. 2 achievements, capture and Goblin King. 3 reputation on the verge of collapse. 4 personality, no problem. I have to restore my reputation from scratch because of Ulu. If I can't recover it, I'll go through the 4th round in the 2nd round. Lenovo failed to sway public opinion, but I can take advantage of the demon followers here. Besides, it's easy to deceive people who don't think for themselves. Kang Hansu is number 1. Hero Hansu is the best. Shifting public opinion is just a matter of time, and so is restoring my reputation. Using the Dark Knights to manipulate public opinion will begin in this kingdom.